Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for the Tech Guy is provided by CacheFly. CacheFly.com. Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the premier radio networks, including almost 200 of the best stations in the U.S. and XM satellite channel 166 on Saturday, March 30th, 2013. This is episode 965. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by Hulu Plus. Watch as many TV shows as you want, anytime, anywhere, on your devices, all streamed instantly to you. Visit huluplus.com/twit to start your free 2-week trial. That's huluplus.com/twit. And by Rackspace, the open cloud company. At Rackspace, build what you want, where you want, how you want. All backed by their world-renowned fanatical support. Try it today. Download the open cloud at rackspace.com/open. And by Ring Central. We do everything in the cloud. That's why I love my cloud-based phone system from Ring Central. Zero startup cost, and Ring Central is $20 per month per user. Try it now with a 30-day risk-free trial, and buy one desk phone, you'll get a second phone free, up to 20 phones total. Call 800-543-9980 or visit ringcentral.com and use the promo code TWIT. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. And it's time to talk about computers, the internet, cell phones, camcorders, MP3 players, home theater, all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo is the special toll-free number we have set up, we have configured for use in these United States. 888-827-5536, toll-free. Outside the U.S., if you use any of VoIP product like Skype, you should be able to call us, no problem, at +1 888-827-5536. Let's get those phone calls coming in. So, you've perhaps heard of the myth of Icarus. Bear with me here for a moment. Icarus, the son of Daedalus. Daedalus was a master Greek craftsman. Actually, I think he was Cretan. Lived on the island of Crete. And Daedalus, the dad, created a pair of wings for each of them made of wax, feathers, and leather so that they could fly. And Daedalus started, and he flew around in a circle. He came back down, and he landed and said, "Son, this works. We can fly. You could fly too, but my advice to you, follow my flight path exactly. Don't get too close to the ground, or you'll crash. Don't get too high, or the sun will melt your wings." But Icarus, once he started flying, felt so buoyant, so excited, felt so good that he got giddy, and he ascended, and he got higher and higher and higher, and pretty soon he got too close to the sun, and the heat of the sun melted the wax on the wings, and the feathers fell, and before Icarus knew it, he tumbled into the sea which bears his name even today, the Icarian or Icarian Sea. So, what have we learned today? That myth, that Greek myth, is often used as an example of something called hubris, flying too close to the sun. Hubris is an ancient Greek word meaning pride or arrogance. According to Wikipedia, it often indicates a loss of contact with reality and an overestimation of one's own competence or capabilities, especially when the person exhibiting it is in a position of power. I take you now to a special event Facebook is having on Thursday, in which, according to Tim Considine at TechCrunch, Facebook will announce its first smartphone. The Facebook phone. We've heard rumors about it for many years. It's kind of like there's a few unicorns in the tech community. There's the Apple TV. There's flying cars. And there's the iWatch, and there's the Facebook phone. Josh Considine, not Tim. Sorry about that. Josh Considine, writing in TechCrunch, says he believes it's going to be an HTC-based handset with specialized Android software on it that is tightly integrated to the Facebook experience that will allow you not only to get to your news feed. Now, I'm going to just take out my Android phone here. Just start counting, okay? Turned on the phone, unlocked it, go to the home page, launch Facebook. What did that take? 3 or 4 seconds? And there's my feed. Well, that's just too long, according to Facebook. It should be right there on the front screen, I guess. Now, this is a rumor. Facebook is not confirming, but they are saying the invitation said, come see our new home on Android on April 4th. Not April Fool's Day, April 4th. But maybe there is a fool here, and maybe it's Facebook. Now, here's what I think. This is a classic example of hubris. Facebook has 1 billion, they say, 1 billion active users, although most agree that at least 20% of those are fake, phony spam users. They're not real people. But anyway, whatever. Okay, so it's only 800 million monthly users. It's still a big number. And something like that, they make hundreds of millions of dollars a year. They had an initial public offering that was, well, depending on whether you bought the stock or not, quite successful. Those who didn't buy the stock felt better about it than those who did. They're masters of the universe, they think. And they think it's time for them to provide a phone so that all of us can live in that world we've wanted to live in, that all Facebook all the time world, where everything we do, from messaging to telephone calls, are all done through Facebook, through Facebook services. Google kind of does the same thing, don't they? I mean, they make it possible to do a lot of what you do day to day by living in Google. Facebook and it wants the same thing. They want the same thing. But I think somebody ought to tell them, hey, Mark, you know that people... You tell me, 8888 Ask Leo. But my sense is people use Facebook, but they don't love Facebook. And Facebook is not hip with the kids. Maybe Mark's thinking, the kids love Facebook so much, they live in Facebook so much, that they will want a phone that's all Facebook all the time. Yeah, I don't think so. In fact, people, my kids particularly, but a lot of the younger people I saw in their teens and 20s started using Instagram in lieu of Facebook. They said, hey, this is a better way to share. I can share pictures. So what did Facebook do? They spent $1 billion buying Instagram. That's one way to kill a threat. Buy it. But the point is that you can't buy everything that comes along Facebook. Something eventually is going to come along and be cooler and hipper and with it. Just ask BlackBerry. BlackBerry Messenger was the thing among kids for quite some time. I think what we're seeing here is incredible hubris, incredible pride and arrogance in the face of a fall. And I think what's going to happen is Facebook's going to release this phone. The tech community is going to make a big deal about it. And then it's going to sink below the Icarian Sea without a trace. They flew too close to the sun. And what it's going to remind people is that you don't have to use Facebook all the time. And that's the worst thing Facebook can remind people of. If it were me, I'd just lay low. People use Facebook, but they don't love Facebook. And I truly think that Facebook is building the Titanic too. Exactly. Thank you, Farmer T, in our chat room. It's the Titanic too. Now, HTC, the rumor is going to be making this phone. Of course, what do they have to lose? In fact, their new HTC One, which is the phone I'm most excited about going forward, which will be out, I guess, later next month, late April, on most of the carriers. The HTC One has a new homepage, which very much influenced by Windows Phone, features heavily what your friends are up to. But it's not just what your friends are up to on Facebook. It's on Twitter. It's their pictures on Instagram. It's messages. It's emails. Now, that makes sense. It's a hub. In fact, that's what BlackBerry's doing, too, on their on their new phones, on the BlackBerry 10 operating system. They've got the BlackBerry Hub, which includes BlackBerry Messenger, but everything else as well. Do you think a Facebook phone will include Twitter and email? I mean, how much of the rest of the world? Facebook really wants you to do everything, including email, inside Facebook. Remember, a couple of months ago, they accidentally changed everybody's email address on Facebook to their facebook.com email address. They want everybody to live in Facebook all the time. And I think this is exactly like Icarus. He's flying a little too close to the sun, Mark Zuckerberg is. And I think those wings, the wax is starting to soften. The wings is starting to melt. It could be any day now. Any day now, he could be tumbling. And I think it may be better not to call attention to this fact. But what do you think? 8888 Ask Leo. That's our lesson in Greek mythology for the day. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the number. Let's talk high tech. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, AOL did the same thing, didn't they? Oh, man, in life today, we are so busy. That's so good, Mick. I like that. Mick says he made a new phone number, 8888 Ask Mick, and is on it as an answering machine. He's, I don't know, ask Leo. Ooh, Edith Hamilton's Mythology is a wonderful book. You can't. So here's the thing with the Thunderbolt that I have learned today, or yesterday I learned this. Because Apple doesn't explain how video passes through the Thunderbolt port, you cannot plug a Thunderbolt display into a mini display port in any way. The only thing that will drive a Thunderbolt display is, the Apple Thunderbolt display is an Apple Macintosh equipped with Thunderbolt, period. There's no adapter, there's nothing. And it's just Apple has done it their way. And there's no standard for that. And apparently, nobody's figured it out, which makes me think that maybe Apple has protected it as they did the Lightning cable. Hey, Kyle. Last weekend, phishing scams. The end of the Kyle. I don't know how we're going to live without you. A simple answer. Nod 32.
I'm flying too close to the sun.
You are. Advanced heuristics engine. That means. But I'm glad you're moving on to something bigger and better. And we'll keep like those fake websites, not only keep in touch, but we'll let everybody know what you're up to. So I've got the call screening, but of course you have to put periods after everything again.
PC Magazine just gave it the most
unknown. I see the lines, but no category. It's the last time we'll be using this thing too.
For 30 days.
The system's in. Look, I got this.
ESPT.com/Leo or call 866-935-ESET. 866-935-ESET.
Somewhere I have a call screening phone. I guess.
Don't forget to like ESET USA on Facebook, and you get their new social media scanner, which scans your Facebook.
So an update on
private messages for
the upgrade I did on Know How on Thursday. I've been playing more with it. Remember, to fill you in, I took a Mac Pro, last Mac Pro ever shipped by Apple, which was July 2010. Very nice machine, I think, an Halem Xeon processor, dual quad core. So it's 8 processors, 16 threads, very powerful machine. But it had a 2.5-year-old, more like 3-year-old video card in it. The the Radeon, what was it? 5870, something like that, 5850. So I bought a Sapphire. Sapphire has released a new Radeon 7950, which should be a lot better card. And that's the Mac edition, so it's a little more, like $50 more expensive. And then I bought a PC card, too, the GTX 670, to see if it would work. The Sapphire worked fine, but I got some surprising results out of it. When I ran the industry standard Cinebench benchmark for OpenGL, it was actually slower than the old card. We couldn't get the GTX working right away because it doesn't have any of the proper connectors. I'm going to have to go out and get a bunch of adapters to make it work with the Mac and with the Cinema display, etc. So I left the Sapphire in there. But then I did an interesting thing. I booted into Windows, installed the ATI Catalyst drivers, updated the drivers for the 7950. Ran Cinebench again, twice as fast. No other changes. So what it confirms to me is that what Brian Schrout and I both kind of concluded, which is that the Apple OpenGL stack is very poor, very buggy. And so you can update the hardware, but you ain't gonna get any benefit from, or you're not. You might see some benefit in things like Final Cut and Photoshop, which don't use OpenGL, but no benefit at all, alas, in OpenGL gaming. On the other hand, when I reboot into Boot Camp with Windows, Bioshock Infinite looks great.
Water will make the feathers too heavy to carry you. Also, do not fly too high, or the sun will melt the wax and your wings will fall apart. Icarus promised that he would stay close to his father.
Okay, Dad, I'll stay right here. I'll just follow along.
Chairs. Chairs are made so that people can sit down and take
This is a Facebook ad. Listen to this.
Anyone can sit on a chair.
Chairs.
And if the chair is large enough, they can sit down together.
Big
and
chair.
Tell jokes.
Tell jokes.
Make up stories.
Make up stories.
Or just listen.
Boy, that's interesting.
Chairs are for people.
Chairs. Basically, the point of this ad is that Facebook is like a chair. Again, I think a little hubris. 8888 ask Leo. A little bit of, yes, Facebook, we are the chair in your life. We are the wind beneath your wings. No, you're just a website. And frankly, the more I use it, the more I want to stop. You can't stop, though, can you? This is the problem. People use Facebook because they have to, not because they want to. Because they have to and not because they want to. All right, let's see here. Let's go to the phones. Eric is on the line from Studio City, California, our first call of the day. Hi, Eric.
How you doing today, Leo?
Very well.
All right. I know you're going through Facebook withdrawal there. You know.
No, I still use it. I'm not anti-Facebook. I still use it, but I do have to think that for them to assume that people want to live 24/7 in Facebook, hey, we already did that. It was called AOL. Didn't work out so good.
I remember several years ago when you mentioned Facebook, and that was the site to check out. I totally remember it because I told my wife about it at the time. She was getting into music, and it was before it took off and blew up. And then I remember you talking about, hey, he turned down $1 billion to sell it to Microsoft.
That's right. That's right.
And that's how much I've learned from you, Leo.
You know, it's funny because in 2004, we first talked about a little video site called YouTube that we thought was really going to be great if they could get around the piracy concerns. And
yeah.
That's the fun. You listen to this show, you'll hear about everything as it happens. Well, what can I do for you, Eric?
My car on Saturdays.
Oh, I'm so glad you listened. Thank you.
I'm a mystery shopper, and I do covert market research at the same time.
Oh, what an interesting job. Who do you do that for?
Many, many different companies. Right now I do it for one company, and I'd rather not, say it. But I go into hotels and I take pictures of the event boards, and it's a way of extracting marketing information for a competing hotel. And I am using that wonderful Galaxy Note 2 that I won last year in December, which increased my capabilities. I can sit on a couch and take a picture from far away. It's all great. But I want to get more into it, even more, because I make a significant amount of money doing this. And I've been looking into spy cameras. So I want to find something, and I want you to direct me.
Can you get in trouble if you get caught? Can they take you in a back room and break your thumbs? No, it's not illegal, is it? All they can do is throw you off the property.
A lot of hotels practice this.
Sure.
A lot of hotels practice this. I've had a hotel throw me out before, but a lot of hotels do this, and some of the hotels I go to are actually our clients. And that's why I want to be more covert about it. I want to find some kind of spy camera that I can just wear, like a tie thing. And ultimately, I'd love to broadcast to my phone. And take
right. So as you take it, it's automatically uploaded. So if they do throw you out and they say, "Give me that camera, I'm going to take the roll of film out of there," you can say, "Sure, whatever you want. Yeah, that's quite all right. Take it away." Well, the place I usually go when I'm looking for stuff like this is the Spy Store. You know about the Spy Store?
It's called the Spy Store?
It's the spystore.com. And it's the... Now, I got to caution you, this much of this stuff would be illegal if you're not in law enforcement, although law enforcement buys a lot of this stuff. Hidden camera,
I don't do
battery
video.
powered, night vision. Oh, they have all kinds of stuff. GPS vehicle loggers. Here's a camera and in your watch. That's video. But they have audio, video, cell phone surveillance, PC surveillance, locksmith. Most of this stuff would be illegal in many jurisdictions.
Well, I don't. All I do is take pictures, so I don't record video.
Yeah, you want. Yeah, but there's a lot. You go to the hidden camera section. So let's see, video, remote viewing, hidden cameras with remote viewing via Wi-Fi, hidden wireless cameras. You're right. Most of these are video. I don't know why they're all video. I guess they must have IP-based cameras, nanny cams, network cams, peephole cameras.
You remember Zionize on Kickstarter or something like that?
Zionize. Oh, here's one. Video sunglasses camera. You put those in your glasses and you walk around. See, the reason most of these are video is you don't want to have to push a button. You just want to walk in, walk around, capture everything. Right?
I want to be able to take photos because that's how I get paid. I get paid by the,
Well, you could take a photo out of the video. Here's one. The DVR Tie 1. It's a Tie camera digital video recorder, built-in high-res CMOS pinhole camera. Registers 6 hours of time, date, stamped, real-time color video on 4 gigabytes. Most of these, I bet, would have still capability as well. I mean, if they could take video, they could take stills. That, by the way, is only $129, in Tie included.
I'll pay that off in one day. That's pretty nice.
If you can't, okay, so the spystore.com, therethere's others too, like the chat room's telling me spyemporium.com. Spyemporium.
The whole community.
Oh, are you kidding? And a lot of the people who buy this stuff just because they think it's cool. It's some guy, just for fun. But stun guns. Oh, here's RF bug detectors. A solution for recording phone. Most of this stuff is illegal in the state of California anyway.
Well,
but you're
nobody knows who I am.
Yeah, you're anonymous. That's fascinating. I knew there's mystery shoppers. I had no idea that hotels would hire people, but it makes sense to go to other hotels to see what events and so forth. And what you're doing is not exactly, horrible. I don't think it's. They could just walk over themselves and look. You're just saving them some time.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I've had hotels that they like one hotel. I swear to you, they did a stakeout to try and catch me, and they caught me. And then they were like really supposedly manhandling me.
Oh, that's not good.
Small guy, and I'm about ready to laugh in their face, going, "Really, for taking a picture?"
Yeah.
But I got my back ways in. I got my you know how to use people as cover, that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's my way of being in the CIA without being in the CIA.
Yeah, and you're not hurting anybody out there, I don't think.
No.
Hey, Eric, there's at least a couple of choices for you. I'm glad. I love that. I'm glad to hear this stuff is still going on. It's called comparison shopping, says Keep in our chat room. Exactly. And by the way, when Google comes out with Google Glass, Eric, you should be first in line, and this will be soon. The problem with Google Glass is it's not exactly anonymous, is it? Everybody knows what you're wearing. All right, we're going to take a break. Coming up 5 minutes from now, Scott Wilkinson, home theater guy. Stay here. So, it's possible that you could update the OpenGL, and I will keep trying that. But after looking around, it does look like people agree that the Apple's OpenGL is very buggy and not so good. And in fact, this is not a surprising result. However, I'm glad to know that it's not a hardware issue because same hardware rebooting at Windows with better drivers, boom, twice as fast. I didn't mention twice as fast. The Cinebench went to 60, which was twice as fast as the original Cinebench, more than twice as fast. And it looks great. I'm running BioShock Infinite on all the highest settings. Look great. And So and then the PCI Express SSD card, that's been fabulous. That's been fabulous. So that hasn't worked poorly. That's been a worthwhile upgrade. What I really need to do is just take a look at how Photoshop and Final Cut are impacted, but I need a way to kind of benchmark that. I guess I can use like a Gaussian blur. Yeah, I mean, it's really a shame that Apple's done such a crap job, frankly. I just was reading an article by Jackie Cheng on Ars Technica about Pro Video on the Macintosh, and how Pro Video folks are just, the Final Cut was the last straw. The lack of a Mac Pro update in Final Cut. They've all moved to Avid or Premiere. They're just bye-bye Final Cut. And Apple, you know, Apple cares about what Apple cares about, and customers, I don't think, are number one, to be honest, and that's too bad. We used to think it was customers. You know, Apple created this notion that we're customer first. We care about the experience. And that may have been true. In fact, I think it was true in the early days. Certainly was true of the people I knew who worked on Macintosh. They were trying to change the world. But it's very obvious now Apple wants to sell disposable consumer technology. Which is sad. Ishtar weekend. I'm going to call Easter Ishtar in honor of the original Easter. Apparently Ishtar, the Egyptian, it's Egyptian, right? Egyptian god, it was actually pronounced Easter. And it was, of course, King Constantine, who, actually Ishtar is Babylonian and Assyrian, who took the annual celebration of Ishtar, the goddess of fertility, war, love, and sex, and turned it into the Christian Easter. It's very interesting because, of course, he was trying to woo the pagans. But that's and Ishtar was the reason that we have bunnies and eggs. They thought they'd just keep those around. I think everybody needs to celebrate their rebirths. Hal Benham, our musical director, his last weekend tomorrow, his last day. He'll be moving on to Parts East, but it's been a great thrill. It's been a thrill ride, Kyle. We're going to deeply miss you. He really has added to the music, the bumper music, and he'll put his playlist for the last time today and tomorrow on his Google Plus page, KYLE space BENHAM, and should you choose to want to follow Mr. B, you can do so and stay in touch with him and find out what he's up to. Kyle Benham on Google Plus. All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Scott Wilkinson, our home theater guru. Scott is the editorial director at avsforum.com. He writes about home theater and hi-fi at the secrets of home theater and hi-fi, hometheaterhifi.com, and is the host of Home Theater Geeks, our podcast every Monday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on twit.tv. Scott Wilkinson, hello.
Hey, Leo. How's it going?
It's going good.
I'm so sad to hear that Kyle is leaving us.
Kyle. Yeah,
we do.
We're actually kind of rejiggering this whole thing. I don't think I'm revealing a secret. You've been here in this studio. The studio's in Northern California, but what we do is we connect to Southern California, where Kyle is in the Premiere Studios, along with Gina Salvati, our call manager and call screener. And all of that's going to change. We're moving call screening up here to our Northern California studios. and we'll have a new musical director down there in Sherman Oaks. So all of that's going to change. So we lost Gina last week, and we'll lose Kyle this weekend. It's all changing.
It's all changing.
By the way, I don't know if there's any truth to the rumor that Kyle Benham will be President Obama's musical director going forward, but he is moving back to the D.C. area, so your guess
certainly
is as good as mine.
could.
He could. So what do you want to talk about, Mr. Home Theater, today?
Well, first of all, I want to let everybody know that on AVS Forum, we're running a contest.
Oh.
And you could win an Epson 5020 projector, a really fabulous projector, valued at just about $3,000. We also have a second prize is the Pioneer speaker system designed by Andrew Jones, who I've had on my podcast, and he's a very good speaker designer. And finally, third prize is no less than an Oppo Blu-ray player.
Wow, that's nice. Now, I got to point out for legal reasons, this is not our contest. This is AVS Forum's contest. And for
AVS Forum.
Details and rules, avsforum.com. You can't plug any more of that then, Scott. That's all you can say for legal reasons.
Then that's all I will say.
But go to avsforum.com and find out more.
Go to avsforum.com and find out all you can.
Contesting on the radio is very different.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
I should have checked that with you first.
We're governed by federal regulations.
Oh, dear. Okay, well, anyway.
The internet is a Wild West anything-can-go place.
But we're on the radio.
Yeah, we are.
Hey, anyway, I do want to also point out that I'm going next week to the first commercial presentation of a 3D movie being projected by a digital cinema projector using not lamps, but lasers.
Oh.
It's very exciting.
That's not been done before, huh?
It's not been done before. We've seen a few. Well, we saw Mitsubishi made a rear projection TV with lasers. They've since gotten out of the rear projection TV business altogether. And Red Digital Cinema has made a laser illuminated projector, but that's not available for commercial purposes or home use at all that I know of. They announced it last year at NAB. But this year, we've got a Christie digital projector, and that's a company that makes virtually all for digital cinema, not for the home. You know, their projectors are in the $250,000 range. But this is the first Christie to use lasers that we're going to see in a commercial theater. And it happens to be in my hometown of Burbank, California.
Cool.
So, unfortunately, the movie they're showing is G.I. Joe.
Now, does the movie have to be modified for this use?
No, it doesn't. It's a 3D movie, so it's going to be projected as a normal 3D movie.
Any 3D movie would work.
Any movie would work. Movie. Yeah, the illumination source doesn't matter.
Got it.
It's how are you throwing light onto the imaging chips, which in this case are DLP imaging chips, and from there onto the screen. Now, typically it's been with a white lamp, which produces white light.
I see.
And the white light is divided into red, green, and blue by prisms and filters and so on. And then that gets thrown onto the screen. But with lasers, you have 3 different lasers, a red one, a green one, and a blue one. And they shine directly on to the imaging chips. There's a red imaging chip and a green one and a blue one that form those parts of the image. Those parts of the image then get recombined and sent out of the lens and onto the screen.
So if you've ever seen, and there are some really good animations online of how DLP, this Texas Instruments technology, works, and it's really... In fact, if you go to a DLP cinema, they actually show you. You may not realize what you're seeing, but it's done with mirrors. They're little tiny mirrors. Actually 3 per pixel, red, green, and blue.
Correct.
And they flip according to whether they're on or off. It's a very
That's right.
So there has to be a light source, and that's what's changed. Is the light source is now lasers.
Lasers, yes, exactly. And they claim, I've read an article about it, and it's claimed that whereas in most 3D presentations, the brightness of the image, the amount of light that reaches your eyes is actually very low.
Yeah, it's the real problem I have with 3D, among others.
It's very dim.
The screen is so dim. I hate
they're
it.
claiming that with these lasers, you're going to be able to get 14 foot Lamberts. Foot Lamberts are a measure of brightness, and it doesn't matter what it means. All it means really is how much light you're getting. And for a 2D presentation, you want ideally on a movie screen in a black room, in a completely darked out room, 16-foot Lambert. So here we've got 14, which is pretty close. 3D movies typically are 4 to 6.
Ooh.
So it's very much lower than you would see in a 2D movie. So this is one of the big advantages that I hope to see when I go is that brightness increase, because that's a big problem with 3D and why a lot of people don't like it, you included. So that's
We still have to wear stupid glasses, though, right?
Yeah, I still have to wear stupid glasses. But they're passive anyway. They're not the real big, heavy, active glasses that you get with some TVs. They're nice, light, passive, polarized glasses. So, you know, I went last week. We went and saw The Croods.
Oh yeah, the Disney movie. Now often
it's DreamWorks.
DreamWorks. Often movies, the animated movies look best in 3D because they can use 3D imaging software. It just somehow it seems to work best that way.
It does work better. I think it works better than live action. Live action is much harder to do well. Now, the Croods did do quite a bit of gimmickry, and I know you hate it, and I hate it too, where things come shooting out at you from.
Yeah, but I don't mind it as much in a cartoon. It's like,
well, no, it's
cartoons
true.
are gimmickry by definition.
By definition,
you don't go to a cartoon because you want a really deep human drama.
No, that's true. And so it's a story of a caveman family, right? And so they're poking spears out at you and stuff like that. And, you know, okay, that's okay. The visuals are gorgeous. Oh, man. The story's okay. One of the great things about it, though, is that blowing conch shell trumpets is an important part of the movie.
Oh, Mr. Wind Instrument here loves that. He loves that. Can you actually blow a conch shell?
Oh yeah.
Oh, the king of the conchs.
Got about 25 of them, different sizes.
What?
Yeah. I've played conch shell ensembles.
Have you ever had a conch frita though?
No, I never have.
You got to go to the Bahamas for conch frita.
Indeed, or the Conch Republic in the Keys of Florida.
Really? Ooh.
Yeah, there's a place there called the Conch Republic.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing this. I'm not going to see the screening, and I doubt many of you will, but Scott will report back.
I will.
HomeTheaterHiFi.com. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Thank you, Scotty.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I really am sorry if I wasn't supposed to mention anything about a contest.
It's not that you can't mention it. It's if it has to be. Ever since the Plugola days of the 60s and the payola scandals, the FCC tightly regulates broadcast media contests. And so I had to make it very clear this is not our contest, and we can't go into too many details about it in case people might be confused about that.
That's fine. That's fine.
It's fine. I think it's fine for you to say, hey, we're giving away some nice prizes on AVS Forum. Go check it out, avsforum.com. That's a plug. But what can't sound like is that this is in any way our contest.
That the tech guy is doing this.
Yeah. Or we're getting deep doo-doo.
Well,
I actually have to take training and sign agreements and all sorts of things. Every year they have a Plugola payola training.
Really? Wow.
Well, the FCC takes it extremely seriously, and the fines are serious. And the problem is because we're syndicated, it's not merely the premier or me; it's every station that's also vulnerable. So it's really a big no-no. So just so you know, for future reference.
Okay. Well, I appreciate knowing that, and I will certainly.
I give it over to you, my friend, and enjoy.
Very good. Thank you. So here I am in the chat room, and love to chat with chat roomers. Yes, Foot Lambert's Cargoplex. Lambert, the Lambert part of it is named after a guy, a scientist by the name of Lambert. I don't remember his full name. But he was working with optics and brightness and so on, and that's one way to specify how much light is coming off of a screen. Another way is lumens, which is the more common way that you see in spec sheets. But we tend to measure in foot Lamberts. It's just two different ways of specifying this sort of the same thing. Let's see. The gray area is saying it's a great restaurant. I don't know what you're referring to there exactly, so update me on that. So to play on to play a tune on a conch shell is like a seal and horns, kinda actually. because the conch shells only have a certain very limited pitch range, typically a third or a fourth. So to play music on a series of conch shells, you need to make sure that they are of different sizes and that you've got players who, first of all, have brass chops. So typically trumpet players, trombone players are the ones who can play these very well. And then you stick your hand more or less into the big opening of the shell that changes the pitch. French horn players do this as well. So Rusty Bones, yes, I have played a conch shell. I played many conch shells. I played one this last weekend, as a matter of fact. I went to a friend's 60th birthday party, and he is a conch shell player, and we had another guy there, and so we did some trios and also played some jazz along with a backup band. So that was really fun. And the Sue is popping in to say hi. Hi, the Sue. So glad to see you. Wood asks if I know anything about the Sonos sound bar, and the answer is no. I haven't tried one yet. I think Leo has one though. I think when he gets back online, we'll ask him. Oh, the Conch Republic Seafood Restaurant. No, I've never been there, unfortunately. The gray area. I would love to go to the Conch Republic, and one day I will, but I haven't. Padre SJ, does Piggy still have the conch? I've got the conch. Sorry, Padre SJ, I don't know. R. Chandra asks, how many milliwatts or watts per laser? That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. I'm going to have to call Christy and ask him. Yes, Dale Poco, the occupant of the shell has left. And you have to cut off the end of the shell. Some people have likened it to circumcision, and they call me a molluscular moil. Those of you who are Jewish will know what that means. iPhone 1001 is asking, what's my thoughts on the news about Panasonic possibly ending plasma TVs? I'm very saddened by that if it happens, and Panasonic has somewhat confirmed.
Hey, is Leo back, Scott?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, I'm here. Thanks, Scott.
Okay, you bet.
Hey, you're good, Leo.
I love movies. I just don't like movies that sit in my lap. Leo Laporte. The Cruise looks good. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Leo Laporte. I just don't want them to sit in my lap again. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888. Ask Leo. That's the phone number. Bernie on the line from Colorado. Our next caller. Hi, Bernie.
Hi, Leo. How are you?
I'm great. Welcome to the show.
Wonderful. So far, you've had somebody ask about cameras and so forth, and so I have a question concerning not a spy camera, but an outdoor security camera.
Oh, yeah.
Can you recommend whether it's Wi-Fi or power over Ethernet?
Well, there are a couple of issues with Wi-Fi security cameras. First of all, wiring them. Are you going to have power out there? Or are you going to have...
I can use either.
You could power it. And do you have a Wi-Fi network in that area, or do you need to get Ethernet to it?
No, I can get Ethernet to it, but I also have Wi-Fi in that area.
Yeah, usually Wi-Fi is easier. Then the next question is, do you want full-time access? Do you want it to notify you when there's movement? Do you want, or is it sufficient for you just to check in from time to time and look and see?
I think just checking in from time to time, but being able to see it on iPad or iPhone.
Yeah.
On Wi-Fi. So while I'm at home, be able to see who's at the front door.
Yeah. Because this is a very crowded category, and so it helps to know what you want. We use in the studio drop cams. In fact, you can see a lot of what's going on in the studio by going to.
That's sort of a subscription service, isn't it?
I'm going to tell you the different benefits. Yes, it is, because they do basically a DVR capability. So they record if you decide to pay for it, and you don't have to. But if you ask to pay for it, they will record several weeks of video online. So if something's you go check it and you say, what happened there? And you can go back. You can roll back in time. You could see our drop cams at twit.tv/dropcams. And we have 6 of them playing at all times. In fact, one of them is actually watching me. Dropcam 5 is actually watching me. So these are a couple of things about the Dropcam. You do have to plug them in. They use Wi-Fi. They're constant. They're always on. And they always are recording, and you can pay a service and have them record. So that's drop cams. Now, you may remember if you listen to the radio in Los Angeles, I've done ads for another product that has kind of an interesting use because it doesn't require power. It doesn't require any connection at all. It's a company called ViewZone. Netgear owns them. VueZone. And the ViewZone is good for somebody who can't get power to the camera, but because the camera doesn't turn on until you go visit it. By the way, all of these can be visited on the net. So it doesn't turn on until you go visit. If you go to viewzone.com, you can find out more about it. So they're battery powered, and because, depending on how often you check in, but because it only is on when you're visiting, it goes about 6 months on battery power. And because they're tiny, and they can be put almost anywhere, indoors or outdoors. But those aren't, and they have motion detection, so I believe, so that if somebody moves, it'll turn itself on. But they're really more designed for what you said you wanted to do, which is to go online and see what it looks like right now. So then there are many third-party, lots of companies that do third-party cameras, a variety of different cameras that have wired, unwired, so forth. Let me ask the chat room. Thubutin 2001 says he loves his camera. He caught his neighbor vandalizing his house. Is that the kind of thing you're looking for? Or you just want to check in on pets? Or...
No, it's just people coming in the front door, salespeople and so forth.
So, okay, so you hear a ding-dong and you want to see who's at the front door.
Right.
Yeah, the ViewZone would be perfect for that.
Okay.
Because it's very easy to mount. You don't have to give it, and it works with the Wi-Fi. You don't have to give it any special treatment. Foscam, Foscam, is very widely used. These can be aimed. So that means maybe sometimes you want to say, what's going on in the street? And you want to aim it up. They can be aimed remotely.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of interesting. So can, what is the name of it? We used to use them in this studio. We would let people aim the camera. There are quite a few like these. Almost all of them have software that will take a picture if there's movement, email you a picture. They are visible online, almost all of them. It does require that there be Wi-Fi or some sort of internet access for the camera itself. Almost all of them will do that. Here's one called DoorBot from somebody in the chat room. That's interesting. From Christie Street. Let's see. Let's homeowners answer the door from anywhere. Now, this is interesting because you not only can see this online. This was a Kickstarter, it looked like. You can not only see it online, but you can open the door, even if you're not there, if you tie it into the Locatron system. So this is a battery-operated Wi-Fi video doorbell that connects to your smartphones.
To me, that looks like one that somebody could just rip off.
Well, that's the problem, and that's one of the reasons I kind of like the ViewZone is it's so small. I mean, anybody can take any camera, right? Of course, you can watch them do it. But that's the nice thing about the ViewZone is it's so small and you can mount it fairly high up. I think for what you're doing, I think ViewZone is inexpensive and probably a good choice. You can get one, you can get a whole system if you want. They're from Netgear, which is a good company and backs it well. There's a lot of choices. This is a common and very popular thing. But what you have to ask yourself is what you want from it, because they all do different things. Do you want aimability? Do you want Wi-Fi? Do you need, is it power a problem? Is it easy? All of that stuff. By the way, DoorBot people say they'll replace it free if it gets stolen. As long as they stay in business anyway. If a lot of them get stolen, I don't know. DoorBot connects to Wi-Fi, and then your iOS or your Android phone can actually answer the door. I kind of like that. I might get myself a DoorBot. That's pretty cool. Now, they're not out until July. We don't have any experience with them. It was one of those kind of like Kickstarter projects at Christie Street. So
I looked that one up, and they show this nice picture of somebody coming to the front door.
Right.
But you're supposed to put that where the doorbell...
right, because it is the doorbell. So all you're going to see is a picture of their torso.
That's not normally straight in front of the people.
Well, it's probably a very wide-angle camera. which means that you will get this very, kind of wide-angle look at everything around there. It's unknown because this is completely a prototype. So when it comes out, I'll tell you what, just for you, I will buy one.
Oh, wonderful.
And I'll report in. They say this will be available in July, so remind me in July.
Yeah, better you than me.
Well, that's kind of my job, right? And I love it. I have a budget. My boss gives me a budget of, every year to spend on stuff. I might use a less charitable word, but I'm on the radio. To spend on stuff.
Well, great. Thanks for all this information.
Sure, Bernie.
Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. I appreciate it. Jeffrey in San Diego, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Jeffrey. Hello, Jeffrey. Oh, I don't hear a thing from Jeffrey. I'll tell you what, let's put you on hold. We'll get him back to the phone, and we'll get him on right after news at the top of the hour. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. It's not Steve Gibson. Why did I say that? That's not who's on right now. It's me. But we're going to send you back to the lovely and talented Scott Wilkinson, home theater guru.
Yeah, lovely. I'm not so
Epson
sure.
projectors. You know why everybody said, "Hey, you mentioned the drop
brightness.
cam, then it went offline," because everybody went there.
Yeah, really. The Twit Army is famous for for
the drop
crashing
cam has a lot of
websites.
bandwidth dedicated to it, but it's not infinite. So
Really?
yeah, well, we haven't yet figured out how to do infinite bandwidth. Someday.
Wouldn't that be something?
Wouldn't that be fun?
Quantum computers, they'll have essentially infinite bandwidth.
So we have the old school drop cam. We have the Twit reception drop cam, which is currently offline. We have the Twit roundtable set, Twit living room set, Twit newsroom, and then Leo's studio. And those should be online 24/7. But of course, if everybody goes there,
they will soon crash.
Yeah, that's live. That's the view. That's the view of me, somewhat time delayed, from my left. That's actually kind of an unusual view. You could see our visitors in studio, so forth. You know that seat. You've been there.
I've been there.
You could see Liz
actually
bouncing in the background. Right? Boingy, boingy.
I love sitting on that ball, man. That's actually very
really. You sit on the ball when you're here?
When I'm there, I sit on the ball. Absolutely.
Isn't that nice? Isn't
Yep.
that nice?
It's very energizing. I mean, it just keeps you going.
That's why I do it.
Keeps you up.
That's why I do it. All right, all yours, Scotty.
Thank you so much. Jetta Joey says an offsite backup saved his rear end. Got a new laptop. Gave old MacBook to a friend. Reformatted the hard drive. Local backup was corrupt. So got it back with, not sure it was Carbonite, but some offline backup service. I certainly use it. Although I found it very interesting that it took more than 2 weeks to do the initial backup. So the 2-week trial is like, well, I hope it works. I'm sure it does. I have no doubt of it at all. I use it on all my computers. It's very important. So don't let me disparage it in any way. But with many gigabytes of data, it takes a while to do the initial backup. Bill in Michigan, we'll need quantum cables for the quantum computers. Yes, of course. David Bix is asking, how much of an upgrade would you say Martin Logan Motion 12 towers would be over the Pioneer Andrew Jones towers? I haven't heard the Martin Logan Motion 12s, so I don't know. However, Martin Logan makes a fabulous speaker, no question about it. So I would guess they're probably somewhat better. The Andrew Jones speakers are incredible and amazing because of the quality you're getting out of a pair of towers or even a 5.1 system that lists for $550. And the two towers themselves are like $150 a pair or something. I mean, it's ridiculous. And the quality you're getting is really amazing. But probably the Martin Logan Motion 12s, which David Bix says are $460 a pair at Newegg, they're probably better. How much better? I don't know because I haven't heard the Motion 12s. Are they 3 times the amount of money better? Hard to say. I always think of price and performance as a curve. And as you get very inexpensive and you spend more money, generally you get better quality. But at some point, that curve flattens out, and you can spend a bunch more money and only get a very small incremental increase in quality or performance. And so where I like to shop when I can is right at that point where the curve flattens out. Technically, it's called the knee frequency, Knee, because it looks kind of like a knee. And that is where I think the best bang for the buck generally is. Now, the Andrew Jones speakers give you incredible bang for the buck way down at the bottom of that curve. So I would never not recommend those, especially to people who need to save their shekels as they can. You're going to get way better performance for the money out of the Andrew Jones speakers than anything else at that price range. Let us see here. Polly Paul asks, can we use any kind of 3D glasses with plasma TVs? I have Panasonic Plasma. No, you can't. And in fact, Panasonic Plasmas and Samsung Plasmas and Sony LCDs, for the most part, use what are called active shutter glasses. So you put on these glasses, they have electronics in them, and one eye closes while the other eye opens, then back and forth and back and forth and back and forth like that, in sync with the TV doing the same thing, showing the right eye image, then the left eye image, then the right eye image, back and forth and back and forth. And that synchronization signal comes from the TV in the form of IR pulses, infrared pulses. And the active glasses, but from Sony to Panasonic to Samsung, incompatible. They use different sync signals, which was a stupid thing in my opinion. They should have gotten together and standardized that, but they didn't. Then there are the passive glasses, which you use in the commercial cinema and on some TVs at home, like from Vizio and LG. And also the Sony 4K display uses passive glasses as well. And those are compatible, typically, from one TV to another. And even in the commercial cinema, if you go to a real D 3D presentation. They won't work in IMAX. And they won't work in a Dolby 3D theater either, but Dolby 3D theaters are very rare, so it's not much of an issue. So the glasses you get with your LG or Vizio TV will work in a real D commercial presentation. Conversely, the glasses that you get at the real D presentation, you're supposed to recycle them, turn them back in, but if you happen to forget and take them home, you can use them with your LG or Vizio or Toshiba, I think, too, 3D TV. So that is the answer to that question. Terry K., am I interested in quantum computing? Yes, absolutely. I think it's an incredible technology. On April 3rd, Caltech, a lecture on quantum entanglement and quantum computing, by the Richard Feynman Professor of Physics. April 3rd, huh? Thanks, Terry. I, in fact, might try to go to that because that sounds very interesting. Wood asks, what do I think of Aperion speakers? Very good. Very, very good speakers. All in all, the ones I've heard, I haven't heard every model they make, but the ones I have heard, very good. And I think they sell only direct through their website. So they're probably, and they are a good deal. I know for a fact that they're a good deal. I don't remember the prices off the top of my head, but they are pretty good. Nagi likes my Pompeii lamp. Yes, my, it's this side? This side. my video is backwards, of course. Yes, the lava lamp, which I like very much. I have one in my home theater, too, which I turn on for parties and such. R160dB, any recommendations on a budget headphone amp? No, I can't say. I don't have one because I don't really spend much time in headphone land. I would suggest going to innerfidelity.com, which is a great website for all things headphone. In fact, the editor there, Tyle Hertzens, is going to be my guest coming up in a couple weeks on Home Theater Geeks.
Thank you, Scott.
We go.
Take care.
My pleasure.
Bye-bye. It's the Scott Wilkinson mini special, which we do every Saturday now. Thank you, Scott. It starts to back already. You guys are too fast for me. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, cell phones, cameras, MP3 players, home theater too. My phone number, 8888. Ask Leo if you have a question, a comment, a suggestion. I started the show today, and I'd still love to hear from you talking about Facebook. They say, or the pundits say, I don't know what Facebook says. Facebook says, come to a special event on Thursday where we'll show you our new home on Android. Some of the pundits say, particularly Josh Considine at TechCrunch, hey, that's a new Facebook phone, a piece of hardware made by HTC, a smartphone that's Facebook-centric. If that's the case, that's a non-starter. Now, I personally don't think that's what it is. I don't think they're going to talk about hardware. I think they're going to talk about a new Facebook widget that you could put on the home screen of any Android phone. And that's much less interesting. And in fact, that's exactly what I would do if I were Facebook. But we shall see. Cannot imagine that Facebook really thinks, maybe, would you? People would buy a phone that's Facebook-centric. Would you? Facebook-centric. Now, I'll tell you what I was interested in, and I kind of made it happen all by my lonesome. Lots of talk about a new iPhone. In fact, everybody seems to agree that we're going to see a new iPhone in a couple of months, maybe June. The iPhone 5S, it will probably be called, something like that. And it'll be a small upgrade on the existing iPhone 5. Apple, the way they do it is every other year they do a major hardware revision. Every other year they do a major software revision. We're expecting to see the software revision this year. A 5S, perhaps. I kept saying, and I still say, I want to see, okay, yeah, go ahead, do your 5S, but I like bigger screens. You know, I carry a Galaxy Note 2 because I love the giant 5.5-inch screen. I want to see more resolution, more screens. I want to see a Retina Note 2, you know, a giant screen with a high-res display. That's why I'm interested in the HTC One and the Galaxy S4, both of which will have 1080p displays. Wow! But here's what I want Apple to announce. And maybe they'll wait till they announce new iPads, which also is supposedly going to happen sometime this year. But maybe they'll wait till then. But I'd like to see them update the Mac Mini with, that's their little mini, their little iPad. Not the iPad Mini, not the Mac Mini. It's so confusing. The Mac Mini is a computer. I would like to see them update the iPad Mini, the little 7-inch iPad, with a high-res display, a Retina display. That would be nice. 1080p be fine. You don't have to go crazy, Apple. 1280 by 1080, that'd be fine. And put a phone in there, if you would. Now, it doesn't have to be a cell phone, by the way, because I think where we're moving with phones is away from the idea of using a mobile phone on a cell phone network. It's all going to be data. In the next couple of years, you mark my words, everybody's going to do this. T-Mobile's kind of inching in that direction. Sprint, eventually AT&T and Verizon will as well. They'll sell you a device that has lots of high-speed data over LTE. And if you want to make phone calls on it, you can with Skype or something like it, or the Verizon app. But I think Apple could jump the gun on this one. What if Apple put an iPad Mini and put a phone on it, not a Verizon or AT&T or T-Mobile phone, but an internet-based phone? They should put an internet data chip in there, an LTE chip. But maybe I've been doing this on my iPad Mini. In fact, I made my first phone call today, and it worked great. There's a program called Talkatone for the iPad and the iPhone that is, it's kind of like Skype. There's a free version if you want to get rid of the ads, you want to get a little bit better call quality. You could pay $20 a year for Talkatone, TalkAtone.com. It's also on Android. But when you put it on a tablet and you need a free Google Voice account, this works in the US only, then you can take and make phone calls via your Google Voice account. Ooh. Now I understand the carriers don't want to do this. They want to charge you expensive cell phone minutes, right? But I don't care. They're going to lose on that one anyway. People are going to do this. It's easy to do it now. People are going to do this anyway. And now I can carry around, we'll see. I may not do this, but I can carry around my iPad mini with LTE and use Talkatone. And if it rings when people send me phone calls, call my Google Voice number, which is a number I give out anyway, rings. Text messages via Google Voice come in that way. I can send text messages. I can make phone calls all through my iPad mini as I walk around. Now I have the world's largest phone. Interesting. We'll see. 8888 Ask Leo. Call me with whatever phone you got. Let's try Jeffrey again in San Diego. We ran out of time at the top of the hour. Jeffrey, are you still there?
I'm here, Leo, yeah.
Thank you. What can I do for you?
So I have a Dell Inspiron, I want to say this right, touch screen computer that I got a couple of years for part of my Christmas bonus at the place I work at. Sort of like giving a prisoner a new sledgehammer.
Work harder, but it's a nice sledgehammer.
Right.
I like that.
That and a pound of coffee, and that's what I got.
Get buzzed and work harder. I love it. Yeah, we give all our employees free coffee. That's a smart thing. Yeah.
And so I don't know what I did. What did I do? I was looking at. Okay, I'll admit it. I was on a dating website.
Nothing wrong with that. A lot of people. I know a lot of people now who've met their spouse on dating websites.
Yeah, so
works great. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my dream. And then something happened. Now I can't get into my Gmail. It tells me that my cookies has been turned off. And then when I go to any other site, like I could Google something and it'll bring up the the different places to go to look at things, but I can't open them.
Does it do this wherever you are, or is it only at home?
Only at home on that computer.
Yeah. Do you ever bring that computer outside of the home, like bring it to work and use it?
No, it's a pretty big old thing. It's a pretty large
it's a desktop. Screen. So what I'm trying to, I know what has happened, by the way, but I'm trying to figure out where it happened. So what's happened is probably malware did this. Your system has been compromised. And by the way, not necessarily from that dating site, possibly, but it could be from anywhere you were visiting. Your system has been compromised, and the DNS system, the system that the computer uses to look up internet addresses, has been modified. This is very common with malware. That way they can redirect your searches and your browsing to their sites.
Yeah, it does that.
You've seen a lot of gambling sites or adult sites? Yeah. Yeah, so that's...
Yes.
Yeah. And you didn't do that. And by the way, don't feel guilty. This is not... You didn't do this. This is malware. This happens to people all the time. So there's two places they can modify how this works. It could be on your computer or could have been on your router. If your router's modified, then every computer in the house will have this behavior. Are there other computers in your house?
No. Yeah, no, I have another. No, it doesn't do it on
Good. That's good news. So it's not the router. That's why I asked if you ever took this computer out of the house. Because if it were on the router, it would only impact the computer at home, and it would impact every computer at house. Because it's not on the router, it's on your computer, this is a little easier to fix. Well, maybe it's not that easy, because you got to figure out what did it, and that's malware, and it's going to be on the system. So even if you fixed it, it would revert. It would go back to doing it again.
Oh, dear.
The best way, the easiest way, the only guaranteed way to fix this is to take those disks that came with the Dell and recover. Start over.
Okay.
And if you don't have any data on there in particular, you can do that just right away, and it'll be fast, and then just update the computer and you're good. If you have data, you need to back it up first. There may be ways to manually remove the malware, but it's never guaranteed. It's always risky. My personal preference, do a system recovery. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Thank you for the soup. Mom, I'm having tomato soup, Ma. Hey, let's face it, we're all trying to save money these days. That's what my ma gave me when I was a little boy and I was sick. She'd make me a grilled cheese and Campbell's tomato soup. This is a little more gourmet. This is Petaluma Market tomato basil. We did make matzo ball soup. Probably having soup for dinner, too. Soup's good. You should. Shouldn't you, Dr. Mom? You should have Campbell's tomato soup and a grilled cheese sandwich. You should. I'll pass on the grilled cheese right now. I'll just have the soup. Dr. Mom, I know you make floaters. I don't know if mine will float or not. I make them. I use matzo ball mix. A little egg, a little schmaltz, and some matzo ball mix. So what will that'll be floaters, I think. Usually they're pretty fluffy. How do you upgrade the video on a 2010 Mac Pro? You get a PC. Now -1. You know, there's grilled cheese sandwich restaurants in San Francisco. Apparently very popular with the hipsters. I saw one the other day. It's so weird. It's comfort food. It's called The Melt. Yep, it's just cheese and bread. That's their motto. Let's see where there are Melt locations. Okay, yes, you can see where I am. Well, there's the nearest Melt is in Larkspur. There's nothing in Petaluma. Where's all the other Melts?
We have a family coming in to watch part of the show.
Oh, son of a gun. Hey, Silverdales. Silverdalers. It's Roger, Michelle, Marissa, and Wesley. Yes. I'm guessing you're Michelle. Ah, I blew it. You're Michelle. You're Roger. And you would be Wesley. Hey, welcome. Thanks. And you're on vacation. Yeah. And Marissa and Wesley are going, why, Dad? Why? They listen too. Really? Okay, Michelle and Marissa are going, why? Why are we here? Okay, so it's poor old Marissa that gets... I like your Surf City. Were you in Santa Cruz? Love Santa Cruz. I went to high school in Santa Cruz. Yeah. You looking at colleges in Santa Cruz? Is that why you're going? Are you doing the college thing? No, you're just on vacation? Yeah, just don't whap that camera. See that one right there? That's me. If you whap it with the back of the chair, then it's going to point over there. Yeah, you see it happen all the time. Yep. You'll need headphones for everything but me. But me. Thank you, Grog. Yay. It's not, yeah, TV always looks bigger than it is, yeah. Oh, it's pretty big. I mean, it's bigger than the whole studio in the cottage was smaller than this, that we did every show in. And obviously, this, when you include everything, it's much, much, much bigger. Yeah, you can figure out what all that junk is. And this is my museum down here. Yeah. Here we go.
I start to dream of you before I get home. Grilled cheese. I hope you're ready, 'cause we got a date. I just can't wait to get home and put you on my plate.
We were talking during the break. Kyle Benham, the musical director, picks up on everything I say. We were talking during the break about grilled cheese sandwiches. And apparently I don't know where they are in the rest of the world, but Silicon Valley has a restaurant dedicated to grilled cheese sandwiches. That's all they serve. It's called The Melt. And their slogan is, yep, it's just cheese and bread. Yep, you're right. Just cheese and bread. That's it. There's a whole restaurant dedicated to cheese and bread. That sounds mighty yummy, doesn't it? It's comfort food for the geek crowd. I think that's really what's going on. It's got to be. I wonder, are they all over the place? They're all over the Silicon Valley area, San Francisco, Berkeley, and down south, Palo Alto. It's where all the venture capitalists go if their investments aren't going well. Los Angeles has a couple. There's one on Sunset and Vine. Gee, you know, I was just thinking that'd be a good sponsor. Every day around this time, I could eat a grilled cheese sandwich. Anything for free food. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888. Ask Leo. That was our last call. Was our traditional once a show. I got a virus. Now what do I do? Call. So I'll give you our traditional once a show. You got a virus. Here's what you do. Talk. First of all, don't feel bad. It's not uncommon. It's not something you did. You could hear our caller. He said it was so, you know, I visited a dating site. Like that somehow. No. So here's how you want to, the mechanics of this actually are kind of interesting. There's money in this. Used to be viruses were really just kids, it's like graffiti on the front of a store. The kids just vandalizing things because they could, because they were smart and they figured out how to do it. But for the last 5 or 6 years, viruses have really been propagated essentially by organized crime, by people who want to take over your computer, preferably without your knowledge, although there's some newer viruses that let themselves be seen. Well, I'll talk about those in a second. But the reason they would want to take over your computer silently is so they can use your computer against other systems in what we call big DDoS, or distributed denial of service attacks. So they use your computer as a soldier in their computer army. They call that army the botnet. Your computer's a bot, and they have a net of bots. Or they use it for sending spam. I don't think that happens quite so much anymore. The latest kind of trick is they take over your computer and they let you know. They say, "This is the FBI. You're surrounded." They say, "We have noticed that you've been doing illegal things on your computer. Well, you could go to jail, but instead, we're going to let you off the hook for $300, but you got to go to Walmart or 7-Eleven and buy a gift certificate." Yeah, because that's how the FBI works. Sure. You just get this money pack and then mail it to us in Russia, and we'll forget the whole thing. So that's called ransomware, and there's a lot of that going on as well. Now, our last caller had another kind of malware. It's all about making money, you understand. I mean, every bit of this is somehow making money. If you've got a botnet, you can sell it. The caller got another kind of a hijack exploit, we call them, browser hijackers, which point your browser to poker sites or adult sites, and they get a small percentage every time somebody visits that site. This is really stupid, obviously. But it works enough, and they infect millions of computers that they actually can make. And remember, this is done mostly by people in Eastern Europe. A lot of them are talented programmers who are out of work. And if they make a few $1,000, hey, big deal. They don't think about the pain that it's causing millions of people. I made $4,000 on my scheme. Hip hippie. I'm a happy boy. So the real problem is once you get, and by the way, the way you get these varies, but a lot of times it's by visiting a site that itself has been hacked. See, let's say I'm Joe Hacker from Lithuania. I don't know where he's from. And if you're Lithuanian, this is not in any way a slur on Lithuanians. I am Joe Hacker from unnamed Central European country. And I want to make a little money on this site. I don't have much money. So what do I do? Well, I can go online and find exploit kits. They're not very expensive. $50. Has hundreds, maybe thousands of exploits in kit. Now, all I have to do is get onto a website that has, that's not completely up to date. It has a known flaw that allows me to secretly put software into a web page that gets activated when somebody visits it. That I put my exploit kit on that site. Happens all the time. It's happened to me. It's happened to our site. If you're running a software content management system on your site and you don't absolutely keep it up to date, and there's a little bit of a module on there. This is what happened to us. A little module on there that's kind of old, has some flaws in it, and hackers find it, put bad stuff on site. Now, they only have a little bit of time, because when Google notices this, by the way, and you might have seen this, Google, Microsoft, Apple, all have databases of sites that have malware on them, and they'll actually put up a warning saying, "Warning, this site has malware." That's what happened. That's how we found out. That's how we went, whoa, and we got rid of it, of course, so we're safe now. Never on techguylabs.com, by the way. Never on the Tech Guy site, but on the mothership, on the Twit site. So maybe it was the dating site, but maybe not. So you're surfing around. You went to a site. Does not have to be a bad site. Could be a well-known, prominent site. Everybody's been hacked. Could be done through and this has happened on sites as well, through a phony ad on a site. Hacker buys ad. Ad looks normal, but inside that is special payload that takes over your system. Maybe with a browser hijacker object that changes how your DNS works so that you go to these poker sites even if you don't want to. Something like that. Easy to do, hard to fix. That's the problem. You can fix it, but the chances are, once some stuff's on your system, that there's other stuff as well. When you go to these exploit sites, it's not just one exploit on this. You know, when you go to a site that's been hacked, there's often hundreds of exploits, and maybe you see 2 of them. Maybe you remove 2 of them, but you missed 3. That means there still could be stuff on your computer you don't know about that's silently doing bad stuff. So that's why my blanket advice is always, best thing to do is to erase the hard drive. I know. I hate even saying this. Erase the hard drive. Really thoroughly erase it and reinstall your operating system from a known good source. That is your Windows install disk, your Windows recovery disks, something that can't have been compromised as well. So it's just, it's the way of the world. It's a lost weekend. And, hacker guy doesn't care or no. He doesn't care. He's going around having his grilled cheese and tomato soup. He doesn't care. Oh, look, I get special money pack coupons from United States of America. I'm rich. And the funny thing is that probably most of you know better than to send money to the, quote, FBI in Lithuania. But enough people do it that it's worth their while. If they infect 1 million computers and only 100 people send them $300, that's $3,000. It was worth it. So I'm sorry when that happens to you. I hate to be the bearer of bad tidings, but really, I strongly recommend erase and reinstall. It's the only way. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I'm going to have some vodka now. Okay, $30,000. Were you offended, my dirty PC? And why were you offended? Are you hacker? Are you hacker guy? Why does this offend you? You offended? Oh, you are ethical hacker. Oh, okay. Never mind. I wasn't talking to you. I didn't say sound Russian. Does this sound Russian to you, Nagy? Maybe not Russian. Maybe I'm Estonian. How do you know? How can you tell? It's a Slobovian accent. How you know? Where am I from? I'm Count Chocula. Yeah. And she did it. Oh, some people just shouldn't be allowed online. Oh, gosh. So Roger's telling me that they had a neighbor who got hacked that way. And then so she paid it. And then they sent her an email saying, "Oh, we're so sorry. You got robbed. Give us your credit card information and we'll refund your money." Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, dear. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my goodness. There's a story behind this book that I don't know if I should even tell you. Yeah, it's so sad. Yeah. The Flower Fairy superhero Noam Atinsky. And he wrote the story in here. Wow. And there, it's dedicated to her, but they all died. So what happened, oh my God. It said, "Dear Lee, I wanted to thank you for all the years your shows have enriched my life, knowledge, and given me entertainment. 3 years ago on March 7th, my family, my wife, daughter, son, and mother-in-law were killed in a road accident in southern Israel." Can you imagine? Needless to say, I was despondent. Part of my road to recovery was spending hours listening to your podcasts and videocasts, helping me focus on something besides the tragedy. Oh, dear. The book is more than 2 years in the making. My daughter, Noam, wanted... Oh, that's why it's Noam. That's not him. He's Brian, but he gave her credit. My daughter, Noam, wanted to do a puppet play for her 5th birthday 3 months before the accident. I work with a great artist who's done about 20 children's books illustrations, and it's a great memorial for my fantastic creative daughter. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That's sad. So this is the story that she told him, and then they made a book out of it. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Thank you, Brian. Kyle Benham, our musical director. It's a sad weekend for me. Kyle's leaving us after tomorrow, after our Easter show. Yeah, I'll be here for Easter. So will Kyle. And moving back. Are you moving back home, Kyle? I guess you are. He's got actually an interesting business. He does this plane with LED lights underneath it, and he does signage. He flies around and does signs. What's the address for that site? Let's give it a plug. Is Kyle listening?
I am, but not really anymore.
You're not doing it anymore? You need a job. So go to... we're going to find him a new... So is it adkyle.com?
You got it.
A-D... Is that still good? You haven't given up on that?
As good as can be.
He needs to find a job. A-D-K-Y-L-E. I highly recommend this guy. He is just been a great asset to the show. And you can find out more about him. He's an entrepreneurial sort of fella as well as a great musical director. ADKYLE.com, or file him on Kyle Benham on Google+. 8888 Ask Leo. Normally Johnny Jett, our travel expert, joins us at this time, but Johnny's always traveling. I think he's on the road. We'll get him on as soon as we can. Sometimes, we get him a little later because he's, out and about. He's a traveling man. That's how he's such an expert. Meanwhile, Chris is on the line from Lakewood, California. Hi, Chris. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hi, Leo. You know what? I need to get a tablet, and I've been doing some searching around. And my profession is writing, editing, and proofreading. I work online all day, and I work in advertising on ads, brochures, websites, so on. And I work on Microsoft Word, and most of the time I'm working on Adobe Acrobat. And I want to get a tablet.
So you need a Windows tablet, it sounds like, yeah?
Yeah. I've been looking at the Surface.
Yeah, Surface RT would probably be a good choice.
That would be a good choice, the Surface.
Yeah, eventually and soon, I think Microsoft's going to release Office for iPad and Android, but they haven't yet. And, there's documents to go. There's ways you can read, Word documents, but really there's nothing like having Word on your tablet.
Right.
And if you're a proofreader, I think that you need the real deal because you probably put revisions, things like that. So
yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm always rewriting, and I work as a writer sometimes too. And I need Microsoft Word and Adobe, and that'll work with the Surface, huh?
Yeah. Well, it comes with Word. It comes with a full Office. That's the Surface RT. It also now, if you get the Surface Pro, there's two Surfaces. Very confusing. Microsoft really muddied the water here. There's two Surfaces, and they're different. If you really want Windows, full Windows, you get the Surface Pro. That's a true Windows 8 machine. Does not come with Office, but you can buy and install Office on top of it. And that will do everything a Windows computer will do. It's a Windows 8 computer. The Surface RT is their ARM tablet. ARM is a different kind of processor, and because it's based on the ARM processor, it won't run existing Windows software. However, to make that better, Microsoft put Microsoft Office on it. So
That sounds great.
so it's free.
I need the Surface Pro, and I'll be all set.
No. You see the confusion here. Surface Pro is a full Windows but doesn't come with Office. Surface RT is phony Windows but does come with Office.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying? So for you, and it's only $500, you're going to want to get the keyboard too, the little keyboard cover. That's another $129. Actually, I get the Type. They have two, Type and Touch. Type has full keys. Touch is like chiclets. So I would get, it's about $629 for a Surface RT plus the Type cover, and it includes Office.
Oh, that's okay. This is great.
Okay.
Leo, I really appreciate it. Listen to your show every week, and I figured you would have the answer for me.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, that's the irony of it is it takes a tech guy to explain what the heck Microsoft's doing. And it took me a long time to figure it out myself. And I'm still not clear. I'm still not sure. We'll figure it out. So Johnny Jet's in our chat room. We will get Johnny Jet on the line. Tell you what, John, hang on. We'll do a couple more calls, and then we'll get you in the next break. So I want to give you a full segment here. Brian is in Los Angeles, our next caller. Hi, Brian. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Tap, 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 tap. Brian's quickly writing the great American novel. Well, we've kept him on hold for long enough. Are you there? Hello, Brian.
Yeah, they're right here. I got
Brian, are you using a mechanical typewriter? You have a Royal in front of you?
That is my wife. She's typing away.
Like on a physical on a typewriter. Holy cow! I thought that was a sound effect. I had no idea.
No, and actually, well, we've had some happy typing experiences. Last time she typed something of significant, we got $4,000 from the insurance company. So.
Keep the typewriter going. That's a powerful typewriter.
It is very.
I wish, I'm being facetious, but I wish I'd kept some of my typewriters.
By the way, Facebook is not my chair, and if I had a chair like Facebook, I'd get rid of it.
I agree.
I don't want my chair changing that.
No, I agree. Imagine, that was the ad that Facebook. It's a chair. But imagine if your chair changed every 3 months. And sometimes your chair would tell people you just sat on it. That would not be good.
That would not be good.
No.
That's not good. So I got a question about Java, which hasn't really bothered me one way or the other for some time. Now it's bothering me. And do I really need Java for anything?
No, probably not. So let me explain what Java is and why you want to get rid of it if you can. Java, which was created by Sun in the mid-'90s, is merely a programming language. That's really all it is. But the idea that Sun had at the time was, we're going to make a programming language that you can write a program in, but that will run on anything. You understand that, in fact, we were just kind of talking about that problem. Microsoft has two different kinds of surfaces, one that runs on ARM processors and one that runs on Intel processors. And software can't run on both. It has to be written specially for one or the other. The idea of Java was you write it once and you can run it on ARM, Intel, you can run it on an Apple, you can run it on anything. So that was kind of a neat idea. In the mid-'90s, everybody was kind of captivated by it. A lot of people learned how to write software in Java in college. They still are. It's in many places, including MIT, the language of choice for your first programming language is Java. But Sun was sold to Oracle not so long ago, the database company. And unfortunately, Java, which we thought, when they wrote Java, they knew it was going to be used primarily on the internet or heavily on the internet. And so they knew it needed to be secure. And they tried very hard to make sure that you couldn't get a virus through Java. But as times have passed, that was, 18 years ago, things have changed. And in fact, there have been many flaws in Java. In fact, so many now that there were 3 last month. 3 major flaws that meant a bad guy using Java could infect your system without your knowledge. Oh, boy. So for a long time, all computers came with Java. But that's changed a little bit. Now, Java is still great. In fact, Android is Java. It's a special kind of Java that Google wrote called the Dalvik machine. But it's still, you write code in Java for Android phones. So it's not inherently bad. You know, there's a very popular game called Minecraft. You play Minecraft? Yeah, you're not. He's nodding. Wesley's nodding. He plays Minecraft. Everybody under the age of 20 plays Minecraft. Written in Java. So Java isn't by itself bad. And that's, by the way, why you can get Minecraft on Macs and PCs, and it runs exactly the same as Java. But I'll tell you what to do about Java when we come back. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. My 21-year-old daughter loves Java. Chad loves Java. Not Java, Minecraft. Web 1639. Oh, you know I love. You can watch it on your computer. Just go to twit.tv or live.twit.tv.
Now they use 3 LCD technology, and there's a good reason for that.
Smart cameras and smart watches. CNN says they're coming any day now. CNN also, I saw yesterday, invented a new word. Drunkorexia. What do you think that means? Drunkorexia. It means people... Yeah, you don't, do you? It means people who eat less food so they can consume more calories in beer or liquor. They're drunkorexic. CNN, I think, made that up, but I could be wrong. Hey, our show today is brought to you by Hulu Plus. I am a big fan of Hulu Plus. It's a great way to watch TV. We're talking about watching Twitter on your computer. Watch TV anytime, anywhere, whenever you want on your devices, all streamed instantly to you. We've got a 2-week trial. That's double the time period. HuluPlus.com/twit. HuluPlus.com/twit. And you can find out more about Hulu and try it for 2 whole weeks. Unlimited instant streaming at HuluPlus.com/twit. It runs on not only your computer, but on connected TVs. Almost all of them have Hulu built in. Your Blu-ray players, your gaming consoles like the PS3 and Xbox 360. I just updated Hulu Plus on my Apple TV. It looks sweet. Roku's got it. Mobile phones, tablets, and more. They're Hulu Plus apps. Hulu Plus is truly fantastic. And you can catch up on all of your hit shows from networks like Comedy Central, Fox, NBC, ABC, and more. Actually, I watch The Daily Show every night, every afternoon, if I miss it at night. I watch The Family Guy. Yes, I do. Glee, Law & Order, The Colbert Report, The Office, even older shows like Firefly. You can see all the episodes. Parks and Rec, Bones, Twilight Zone. Consider, if you will, a man who could watch anything he wanted, anytime, on any device. I give you the Hulu Zone. Plus, you can watch your favorite classics, full seasons of currents, and movies, too. Get an extra free week when you try Hulu Plus today. Visit HuluPlus.com/twit. You'll get that 2-week free trial. HuluPlus.com/twit. SpongeBob's on Hulu Plus? Now I'm gonna get it. I love Hulu Plus, Hulu Plus. You can come in. Come on in. Don't have to sit out there. Hi. How are you? Nice to meet you.
I'm Tom.
Tom, Leo.
This is Bella.
Where are you from?
The UK.
Ah, nice to meet you.
I live in the city.
Ah, and Bella's visiting?
Yes.
You having fun?
Yeah, great fun.
Not here. I understand that this isn't fun, but like in San Francisco is fun, huh? Yeah. Marin's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. We stayed near Beach.
Oh yeah. Where'd you stay?
Basically at this place right just above the beach. You know, like when you go to the beach and it's like
gorgeous.
It's amazing.
How fun. Yeah. Well, it's nice to meet you. Yeah. Are you here as a student? Or are you working or?
I work for Twitter.
The Twitter?
The Twitter, yeah. I know it's the name thing.
That's all right. Evan knows about it. I complained. It's too late now. He doesn't even work there anymore. So how do you like it? What do you do? Are you an engineer?
Yeah, I'm software engineer.
How fun. That's exciting.
Yeah.
How long have you been there?
About 2.5 years.
Oh, long time.
I basically got moved out straight after college.
Awesome. What a great gig. That's great. What are you working on?
I'm on the revenue team.
Revenue's always a good thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I know all about revenue. We've been in a Hulu Plus ad this whole time. All right. Hey, thank you. Nice to meet you. All right. Enjoy your trip. Take care.
All right, Leo, Nod 32, live read.
Thanks.
She's a man gobbler, eater. She's a man eater.
That's how Hall & Oates works. They worked on a typewriter. I want a typewriter. Leo Laporte, the tech guy we were talking. What were we talking about? Now I've completely forgotten. Java. Thank you, Kyle Benham. What am I going to do without you? You're my brain too. So you understand the history of Java. You understand why you may want Java. A lot of programs you might want to run are written in Java. But what you don't want, because it's too dangerous, and certainly if you have Java on your system, and many systems don't, for instance, Apple's don't come with Java anymore. But if you have Java on your system, if you install it, for instance, to run Minecraft, the thing you want to turn off is Java in your browser. That's where you get in trouble. It's harmless to run Minecraft. You got it from a known good source. It's just a program. Java's just a programming language. By the way, don't confuse it with JavaScript. That's something different. Java is not JavaScript. That's confusing, I know, but it's a long story. When the folks who invented JavaScript decided it was called something else, I think ActionScript, and when they decided that they saw that Java was really successful, they said we should call this JavaScript. Yeah, that's a good idea. That'll really confuse people. LiveScript, was that the original name? Yeah, LiveScript. In any event, the key is to make sure your browser does not automatically run Java programs it runs into on the internet. That's where you get in trouble. Now, some browsers, you can just disable it. Chrome makes it very hard. It's hidden away. In the Internet Explorer, so you could search the internet for disable Java in my browser. You'll find instructions for your particular browser. If you don't use Java, if you don't use Minecraft or any Java games or anything like that, just uninstall it. It's not bad to have Java on your system. What's bad is to have your browser automatically run Java. And if you do have Java on your system, you want to update it. It'll update itself on Windows. If you have Java installed on a Macintosh, Apple does an interesting thing. If you don't use it for a while, it turns it off. So you're probably safe. So that's the deal. Nothing wrong with Java. But it is unfortunate because of its age, probably. It's not secure. And Oracle has not done a good job of keeping it secure. So you do want to disable the ability to run Java in your browser. Now, it's time to say hello to the peripatetic world traveler himself, Mr. Johnny Jet. Hey, Johnny.
How you doing, Leo?
Wonderful. Where are you?
I'm actually in one of your co-hosts' parents' apartment.
You're in one of my co-hosts' parents' apartment. It's got to be Amber MacArthur.
You got it.
And you're in Florida.
I am.
You are. Do they know you're in their apartment?
No.
Uh-oh. No,
I'm only kidding.
That's how I met Johnny Jet. Amber and I did a television show in Canada called Call for Help, and you were on the show many times. So that's nice. Yeah, you stayed in touch with Amber.
Yeah, of course. And
she doesn't
her parents
mind
are they're in the same complex as my dad, and my dad's internet's not that strong. So I was like, hey.
Well, thank you, Mr. and Mrs. MacArthur.
Yes.
We appreciate it. What do you want to talk about today? Johnny is, by the way, a travel expert. He uses the internet to book and to travel better. And if you go to johnnyjet.com, you'll get the benefit of his wisdom. It's so great. JOHNNYJET.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I got two things for you.
Okay.
One, I just flew from L.A. to Fort Lauderdale, but I went via Dallas because it saved me $200. But on my flight, I noticed on one of my flights, I noticed that I was in the exit row. I noticed the 2 rows behind me had center consoles. The middle seats were blocked out. And I seen it once before, and I'm like, what's going on? So I asked the flight attendant. She goes, well, someone figured out that if American takes 4 seats off this one 737, not one, there's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
737 800 MCE, they can save tons of money because they can go one less flight attendant. Every 50 pass. Every
what?
50 pass. Yes.
I thought you were going to say weight. I thought you were going to say fuel. I thought you were going to say oxygen. They save on flight attendants.
Yeah. Every 50 passengers, they need one flight attendant. So this plane had 154 seats.
Oh, take 4 out, and now we only need 3.
They only need 3, and because the planes aren't always flying full, That's how they're saving the money. And so I was like, I got to write about it because people should know about these 8 seats. Because if you book these 8 seats, it doesn't cost any extra money, and you have a guaranteed empty seat next to you, which means everything when you travel.
Can you put stuff on the console? What's in that empty seat?
I just posted it. I just wrote a story. It's on my homepage. I just went up 5 minutes ago.
There's a picture. How to guarantee an open seat next to you at johnnyjet.com. And it's just a thing. It's a plastic chunk.
Plastic thing?
But it does have a cup holder.
Yep. And there's no seatbelt. They took the seatbelt out, so you can't put anyone there.
That is hysterical. And it's just because of the size of the plane that taking 4 out happened to save them more money than it costs them.
So if you're ever booking a 737-800 MCE, try and get these seats if you cannot get the exit row or the bulkhead.
How would you know? Oh, seatguru.com.
Yeah, I put a link to Seat Guru. It actually shows it on there, the blocked out seats.
This is why I love Seat Guru so much.
Yeah, right behind the exit row.
Seat Guru, if you enter in the flight number, it'll know what the equipment is on the airplane is on it, and then it'll show you a map, up-to-date map, and it shows you what the good seats are. They're green. What the bad seats are, they're red. What the kind of seats are, they're yeller.
But they didn't put green in these. Look at the green row right there. Yeah, exactly.
They should put green on the. So the rows. Yeah, there should be 16 and 17 should be green because you got if you don't want anybody in between you.
Right, you don't have extra leg room, but you do have space, and I love it because I can work then on my laptop.
How long before American starts offering special seating for small people? They're going to.
After this segment, they're going to start charging for those seats.
Yeah, they're going to learn. Is seatguru.com the best? Is that there are others, aren't there?
There are others. Yeah. There's seatexpert.com, but they are. TripAdvisor bought them.
Ah, I like TripAdvisor.
So they got big money around them.
So they'll be around.
They will.
That's good. Yeah.
How many more minutes I got? I got another site for you.
One more site.
All right, airfareiq.com.
AirFareiq.com.
It's so basic. It just came out this week. It doesn't really do much except you email them. So, okay, every travel agent and every savvy traveler knows about hidden city tickets. So these are illegal or they're illegal by airlines terms. So if they catch you doing it, you could lose your miles.
What? They could punish you?
Yeah. So let's say you're going L.A. to Cleveland.
Yeah, I'll do that one. Okay, L.A.
And it's last minute. This only works for today, tomorrow, or the next day.
Right.
Whenever you're traveling, up to 3 days.
Yeah.
So if you're traveling last minute, these nonstop flights are crazy expensive. One time I was going to Cleveland from LA, it was $600 for a nonstop.
Oh yeah, tell me
about
it.
So I started looking at alternate airports. I actually own a site called alternateairports.com. It lists them all. So I found out Buffalo's 230 miles away or 220. And that ticket was $230. But I noticed...
Why? What are these hidden cities? What is that all about?
But what I noticed is that flight to Buffalo first stops in Cleveland. It was the same exact flight for $600.
So it looks like a direct flight to Buffalo, which no one wants. But it happens to stop in Cleveland. Now, are you allowed to disembark? Or are they going to say, sorry, sir, you bought a fare to Buffalo. You've got to stay on the plane.
All right, but the most important thing right here, actually, nonstop and direct mean totally two different things. Nonstop is nonstop. Direct means Southwest does a lot of direct flights.
Yeah.
Direct means you stop. It's the same plane, same flight number. You don't get off, but you stop.
It sounds like there's no stops when you say direct, but there actually are stops. Only nonstop has no stops.
Correct. So
direct means it goes directly there, but it stops. But do they let you off the plane? I mean, you're in Cleveland.
No.
Well, what good is this?
No. Sorry. This one you do. The directs, they don't.
Sorry, sir. You cannot get off the plane. But I'm in Cleveland. I want to go to Cleveland. No, sir. You're going to Buffalo. I don't care what you say.
This is the trick. The trick is you book a one-way ticket. You do not put your mileage in.
Okay.
And so let's say, you have to figure out which one's a hidden city. And that's what these guys do.
Because they're going to know you got off in that hidden city. So they'll strip your miles. So don't do that.
Don't put your miles in. If you do it a lot, you're getting caught. But anyway, so these guys, they charge $5, and they'll tell you which the hidden city is because it's always changing. It happened to be Buffalo that one time, and now they're actually offering all these promo codes. The guy says if you follow him on Twitter, he will follow you back and give you a promo code, so you can do it for free.
So I see 6 flights, actually 3 outbound flights and 3 return flights that are ostensibly L.A. to Cleveland.
And it says $429. They don't tell you where that flight's going. until you pay the $5 or put the promo code in.
You pay them, or you give them the information, and then they'll say, "Oh, and by the way, this is going to stop in Muncie."
And then they email you. So actually, I just did it, and then actually that first flight stops in Fort Lauderdale, which I never would have thought.
What? Well, I would never have thought on the way to Cleveland we're going to stop in Florida.
Yes. So anyway, I didn't pay the $5. They gave me a promo code. So I just did it. They emailed it immediately.
Wow. One more
and
tip. One more tip. Do not check bags on that flight.
You cannot check a bag.
Because you'll be getting off in Cleveland, but your bags are going to Buffalo, baby.
Anyway, I did it all, and
are you going to get censured now, Johnny, for telling the world?
I might be in trouble. So if you don't see
Johnny, we don't know his last name.
I'm in airline prison.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Thank you, John.
All right.
What's his Twitter handle? We didn't say.
Airfare IQ.
Airfare IQ.
Same as the website.
At Airfare IQ.
He has no followers. He just started. They just started.
He has no followers, and he's going to airplane jail.
Yeah. Oh, I am.
That's hysterical.
You know, I've looked in almost every...
Guess what, Johnny? Your next flight, you're going to Buffalo. You owe us a Buffalo.
So
that's funny.
I think it's a great concept.
Is that how you got to Fort Lauderdale? Did you do that?
No. It just, the website just came out a few days ago.
You haven't done it. And I want everybody to know, John does not do this.
Hell no, I don't do that. I'm not getting in trouble.
Hell no.
Hell
what are
no.
you, crazy? Oh, no, I didn't. Thank you. That's a good one. We want to talk to you about doing a show on the network. I think you're so great.
Well, thank you. I would love to do it.
And the issue is going to be because you're traveling a lot, but I think what we could do is we could do a bunch at once or something like that. Because, each one of these is so great. And it could be that short a show, a 5-minute show. Johnny gives you 3 things.
I would love to do it.
All right. Well, look for an email from my CEO and business partner, Lisa.
Okay, good.
And
I need to make some money, man.
Well, I think we could make some money on this. Except the airlines won't advertise because they don't like you anymore.
They hate me now.
Is that Hidden City guy? I hate him. And he told everybody about our fat stewardesses.
Oh. But the coolest thing this week when I was on that same flight, actually, some flight attendant came up to me. She goes, "I follow you on Twitter."
Oh, good.
And I was like, "How do you know?"
Oh.
She's like, I was like, "I know all about you." And I thought that was pretty cool.
That is great. Well, you're going to be famous. We're going to make you famous and rich.
Oh,
rich and famous.
I'd rather be rich than famous.
Well, I think it goes the other way, actually. We can guarantee famous, can't promise rich. We're working on it.
All right.
Thank you, Johnny. Great bit. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Minutes past the hour. From
Oh, no, you didn't go to Cleveland. All right. I'm going to...
I'm going to take a break. I'll be right back.
You want to get a picture before you go? Why don't you come on back here? We'll get somebody to shoot the shot. Oh, photographer.
This is Premier Channel 7. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Did I be
Begin at 6 minutes past the hour. From Premier Radio Network.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's cool. It's pretty cool. Come on over. Yeah? Okay, I'll say hi, but I'm going to get pictures first. Hey, nice to meet you. Come on back, family. All right. Nice to meet you, Patrick. Welcome. I'm so thrilled. There we go. Now, who wants... Dad should sit on the ball. So, Dad, go right up to the keyboard.
Cool. There we go.
Don't sit on the ball.
All right.
Stand there.
Okay.
Stand there.
All
Stand
right.
there. Close. Okay, now sit on the ball.
Now
Because if you sit down too soon, you're way back there.
Got to roll back.
All right. Now, we got to get the rest of the family in.
Cool.
Come on. Get in here.
Come on.
Get in here.
Come on up. What am I wearing? Hats for everybody.
That's not right, Marissa. That's right. She says it's
Okay, switch. Switch. Yeah,
That's all right. We'll
where's
find
that?
room for everybody.
All right, here we go.
We'll find room. This is going to be your Christmas card.
Twit Network card. There we go. There.
He's tall, too.
Yay! Awesome. Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming. You're a good audience. You guys laugh at my jokes. You can come back anytime.
Funny segment.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Marissa. Take care. Come back, okay?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Safe travels.
Watched you for many years.
Oh, I'm so glad you could be here. Yeah. Just makes me feel old. Circ, huh? What does Circ do? Circ for Chrome. My Pixel should arrive in a couple of weeks. Actually, less than that. April 8th, I think, is shipping.
This is Premier Channel 7. Leo Laporte,
IRC.
the Tech Guy, will begin at 6 minutes past the hour.
That's awesome.
From Premier Radio Network.
That's awesome. Are Chrome plugins, they're written in JavaScript? What are they written in? I guess JavaScript, right? HTML5. Yes, Java is a thread on Linux. It is. It's because the JVM is buggy.
You're tuned to Premier Channel 7. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy, will begin at 6 minutes past the hour. From Premier Radio Network.
Everybody will tax eventually, and then you can go back to... Yeah, wouldn't Johnny Jet be great? Johnny Jet Show? The Johnny Jet Show! That's a Lisa idea, and I totally support it.
You're tuned to Premier Channel 7. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy, will begin at 6 minutes past the hour.
Thanks, Johnny. See you later. That's awesome. Say hi to your dad, Mr. Jet. What do you think Johnny's real name is, like Jakowski? Actually, he told me once, didn't he? Johnny Jakowski. Meet Johnny Jet. His dog Elroy. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Hey, how you doing today? Time to talk about, well, computers, I guess. We don't do a lot of computer talk, but yeah, some computers, some internet stuff, maybe lots of cell phone, home theater, anything with a chip in it, anything digital. 8888. Ask Leo. That's the number, 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. of A. Outside the United States, you could use Skype or some other VoIP product and call that same number toll free. 888-827-5536. You know, I can't believe it. I've gone 2 hours now, or an hour 3 of the show, and I haven't mentioned the website. And it's such a great resource. I'm not good at plugging. I'm bad at plugging. So let me plug it right now. TechGuyLabs.com. And it's really more than a plug because it's kind of useful. If you're listening to the show and, you know, I mentioned something, you can go to TechGuyLabs.com, get the link, get the information. We have a question of the week. We have a tip of the week, a hero of the month. We have great search. And each and every show, this is kind of cool. So this is episode 965. So there's already an entry for episode 965 on the website. And as we go, James DeRuvo writes down the questions and writes down my answer. Then you can go back to a previous episode, and it gets even fancier because afterwards, Josh Windish here in our office at the Tech Guy Labs puts the video up and ties each question to the video. So when you click the question, you'll actually see the portion of the show and listen to the portion of the show where the question is asked and I answer. And then you can read my answer, but you can also read comments. And I do hope you'll go in there. If you're listening to the show and you say, oh boy, you know, Leo really botched that, or there's an additional thing people need to know, please use the website. It's a great place to add that, and that will be there forever. And let me underscore this. Always free, always available. No paywall, no, you don't have to subscribe to nothing. We thank our sponsors, people, those ads you hear, that's what pays for this show. You don't have to. And I'm dead serious about that. I want to make sure it's all available to you forevermore. Although I doubt anybody's going to ask much about Windows 95 in the next few months, but if they had a question, it'd be there. 8888 Ask Leo. Back to the phones we go. Michael in Modesto, you're next. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Michael.
Hey, good afternoon. Hey, help. I got a problem with my computer here.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. What can I do?
Yeah. My sister bought it. Well, I bought a computer. My sister bought it.
Yeah.
$20, and it's an HP.
Wait. $20?
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's not a late model HP.
Well, D530 CMT, whether that's considered an old model, but
I don't even know. D50.
oh, I'm sorry, D530 CMT.
CMT. It sounds like one of them old compact computers.
It's got a Pentium 4 in it.
Oh,
so,
ow.
So
Okay. It's a little old. Is it running Windows XP?
It was running XP. Here's the thing: we bought it from a shop that everything works fine except no hard drive. So I took it home, popped in a hard drive that we have.
Yeah, hard drives there a dime a dozen. You probably have some lying around, right?
Oh, we got plenty of computer parts laying around.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is we put the hard drive in, and the system just keeps rebooting. Obviously the hard drive does not recognize the system.
The system keeps rebooting. That's interesting.
Yeah, it wants to go back to BIOS. So I even tried to load a copy of Windows 7 that I have just to see if I can.
Oh, forget that. Stop right there. You're going to want to stick with XP on this probably. But before we go any further, the hard drive that you put in was an IDE drive.
Yes.
Yeah, so you have the IDE. Make sure the IDE cables are properly connected at both ends.
Okay.
If you flip them, that could be part of the problem. They have so they're keyed, and it shouldn't be possible to put them in wrong, but it is. You should also make sure the jumpers on the hard drive are properly set so that is the master drive, the boot drive.
Okay.
The BIOS battery probably is dead. That's part of the problem. You might want to go into BIOS. You can get into BIOS, right?
I can get into BIOS.
Yeah. What I would do on the BIOS is you want to reset the BIOS information, the hardware configuration, because the hardware configuration is almost certainly changed from what it was.
Okay.
So there'll be a switch that you can reset in the BIOS. It has different names depending on, what it is and so forth. But you do want to reset that BIOS so that it says, okay, there's new hardware, and it'll go through it and it'll re-recognize the hardware. You might need to get one of those dime lithium batteries or quarter-size lithium batteries. You may need to get a new one of those.
Okay.
So what we're doing is we're trying to start fresh.
Okay.
On this puppy. Now, if it still reboots every time, it's possible that maybe that hard drive is, I don't think this is the case, but taking too much power from the power supply. You also want to check the jumpers on the motherboard. Bill in Michigan has a good point. It may be that they did they changed the jumpers on the motherboard. You probably want to go to the HP site and get a motherboard manual or diagram and make sure that the jumpers are properly set.
Okay.
Because you could change a jumper to reset CMOS, and maybe they left it that way.
Okay. CMOS.
Yeah.
Okay. My parents have a lot of experience on this in our old days doing computers. We've done.
Oh, that's neat. Now, where does it reboot? Does it reboot after it's starting Windows, or does it reboot right away?
It shows HP Intel, then it reboots, and then it goes back to, and then it circles around.
So it's never actually hitting the hard drive.
No, I don't think it is. No, I
yeah.
think it's hitting right into.
It's saying I can't go on. Now make sure there's RAM in there, and there's enough RAM, and it's properly seated. Believe it or not, that machine, which is stunning for this era, can go up to 4 gigs of RAM.
Yeah.
It comes with 256 megs, but you want to upgrade that a little bit. I'd at least get 2 gigs of RAM in there.
Okay, I believe it does have that.
Yeah.
So,
this is going to be fine. Now, one other thing I would suggest, you may be able to get Windows 7 on there. If it can run XP, it probably can run Windows 7. But I would maybe also look at a Linux to put on there, too.
Okay. Just as a side note, what if we wanted to get like a restore disk from? Is there any place that you can download that's trustworthy? Because it has the Windows logo on the on the back of the tower, so
Yeah, you can buy from HP probably for $10. You could probably buy a restore disk, unless that machine is so old they don't want to support it anymore. Microsoft might do that as well.
Okay.
You can also just buy cheaply a Windows 7 upgrade disk and go with that. I think Linux is a better candidate for this older machine. It's such an old processor.
Okay. Now, what can you necessarily do with Linux? I've heard about it.
Well, you can't run Windows programs. Well, actually, you can run Windows programs, but I wouldn't choose it for that. You want Linux because you can it's a browser. It's a real operating system, but it's more secure. It works better on older, slower hardware, and you can have a great browser. You can have Chrome or Firefox on there, and I bet you 90% of what they do is email and browsing.
Yeah.
And it'll work great for that, and it'll be more secure. There's no Windows viruses to worry about.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And it'll run faster because Linux is less demanding.
Okay. They put a neat note in the show links where we can download that from.
Yeah, I'll recommend, and we'll put it in the show notes, that you check out Puppy Linux at puppylinux.org or Xubuntu, which is a version of the very popular Ubuntu Linux designed for older machines.
Okay.
And we'll even put, James, if you'd put a link to our know-how episode on taking an old machine and putting Puppy Linux on it, that'd be good. So the real issue, though, is going to be all of that is kind of secondary to getting the thing started. And I would check the battery in the CMOS, maybe update that. It's possible BIOS is damaged, in which case it'll never work. But I bet you can get it going. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Lubuntu? I think Xubuntu is dead, isn't it? LU? The internet is an absolute necessity for our everyday life.
I agree. The internet is an absolute necessity, especially if you're an internet company. That's why I recommend Rackspace.com for anybody who is using the internet. If you keep, if you have a website or you run code, a lot of people nowadays, this is the best way to get started writing apps, is to use a cloud-based app engine to make it easier for you to host, to do an example app. Perhaps you have a database you want to share. You're working in the cloud. We love the cloud, but not all cloud providers are the same. Some use proprietary technology. That means it's going to be very difficult it's lock-in. That's why they use it. Very difficult to move to another provider. It's expensive and complicated. What you want is an open cloud solution. Open standards. You know me. I am a big fan of open. That's why I like Rackspace. Rackspace actually co-founded the OpenStack with NASA. And they now run the world's largest open cloud. You're not trapped. You're not locked into a single provider. You have the freedom to move your apps, your code, your websites between multiple OpenStack-based clouds, public or private, on-site or hosted. I think you ought to be able to build what you want, where you want, when you want, how you want. And that's what open is all about. And, of course, Rackspace has world-renowned fanatical support. They're great folks. And I want you to try it today. Free. Download the Open Cloud. Yeah, you'll see it at rackspace.com/open. Rackspace.com/open. The Open Cloud. The SS Disneyland about to embark.
The right projector.
I will
for your
do the
home or office
ESET
needs
in the
with
next
3
break,
times
and
the
I
color brightness
apologize
than competitive models.
for being a
Visit
bad man.
Epson, built to perform.
Let's see, the SS Disneyland is back on and off, it says. I don't know what that means. It's back on and off. Oh, there it is. It's back, comma, on and off. Off and on. It might be a phone, actually, Nerve. We don't know. No one knows. My suspicion is it's not a phone. I can't imagine why Google would want to do a phone. I think, Facebook. I think it's much more likely, but everybody else seems to think it's a phone, so what do I know? What do I know? Lubuntu is a flavor of Ubuntu based on the lightweight LXDE desktop environment. You're right. Lubuntu sounds wonderful. That's a good example of open, isn't it? If I were, recovering an old PC, I think it's just a better way to go. Dalrymple says it's a phone, huh? Dalrymple has good sources at Apple. Don't know how good his sources are at Facebook. No, he just says they're entering the mobile space in one way or the other. That's all he says. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo. We've been talking today about Facebook and a possible Facebook phone. As Web5342 in the chat room said, Facebook phone? Yuck. Thursday, Facebook is making some sort of announcement. The invitation says, come check out our new home on Android. And some have interpreted that as a Facebook phone. There have been persistent rumors. Just as there have been persistent rumors about Apple doing a television set, there have been persistent rumors about Facebook doing a handset, a phone. I've never credited them. Mark Zuckerberg has very vigorously denied it. Hey, if he doesn't know, I don't think they're doing it. So while I have no inside information at all, and maybe Josh Considine at TechCrunch, who reported this, does, he says it's going to be an HTC-based smartphone with Android, and it'll be Facebook-centric. I don't understand the percentage for Facebook in doing this. I think it's much more likely they're going to do an updated Facebook app for Android that has a home screen widget, much like the HTC One home screen widget, that will be all of your Facebook stuff. You know, Windows Phone has done this for a while, where they have a people widget that's on your home screen that shows all sorts of stuff. BlackBerry does it great. On their new BlackBerry Z10. The Z10 has the BlackBerry Hub. This will be part of BlackBerry 10 on all the phones. The BlackBerry Hub does this, nice melding of tweets, Facebook, everything, messaging, everything. And maybe there's some confusion. Maybe this is what's going on. They're confused about the HTC One and that home screen widget that they have on there, which does somewhat the same thing as a Windows Phone. It combines everything all together. You know, all your friends, the contacts, pictures, all that stuff into kind of one front page interface, much like the Windows Phone. I think that's the future for sure. But we'll see Thursday. I can't. But I again, and we're asking everybody today, what do you think? Do you want a Facebook phone? Do you want a phone from Facebook? I don't know. 8888 Ask Leo. I don't think anybody else does, but I could be wrong. I think people use Facebook because they have to, not because they want to. More and more. That's what I think. Robert, Newhall, California. What do you think? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Robert.
Leo, how goes it?
It goes great. How goes it with you?
Well, I have an issue with a USB.
Uh-oh.
I want to create a bootable operating system on my USB.
Yeah.
And I've done it, but it doesn't boot. When I load my laptop or desktop and I go F12 to load to the BIOS or the USB, when I load to the USB, it does not recognize it.
Huh. Well, how do you know you've done it?
When I click on my computer, I go to the USB drive and everything's inside of it.
You see stuff on it, but have you ever booted from that USB drive?
No.
No. So maybe it's just not formatted properly. It's not enough just to put an operating system on there. You have to make it a bootable operating system. First thing I would do is go into your BIOS on your computer. You know how you do that's the setup at the beginning where it says press escape or delete or F10 or whatever to get into BIOS. I would go into that and make sure you can boot USB. In fact, you can even say, and this is how I have it, you can set a boot order, right? And I do this on most PCs. And I usually say, yeah, the boot order, number 1 is USB. If there's nothing there, it'll go to the next thing. If you have a floppy, I guess you could put that in there. But number 1, USB, then CD, then hard drive. That way, you know, it'll go through those 3 things.
Okay.
Now, somebody in the chat room says, I don't know what this is referring to, that if you hold down Alt plus O when booting, that this will somehow magically inform the computer that you want to boot to the USB drive. I'm not familiar with that. That doesn't sound right to me. He says it's worked for me. I'm not sure what that does.
One last question.
Yeah.
How do I create a bootable Hiren's boot CD?
Hiren's has the instructions, and that's a great thing to do. Everybody should do that. Or boot CD of some kind. Hiren's is not necessarily the one I recommend, only because I believe, and I'll have to look at it, is it all free software on there? Some of these boot CD kits have some commercial software on there illegally.
Yeah, they're all free.
Yeah, okay, good. Then this is a great tool because it's basically a Linux CD with a lot of antivirus and hard drive repair tools. So it will explain to you how you do it. And it's not just, you don't just copy these files onto the USB key. And is that what you're trying to create as a Hiren's?
Yes.
Okay. There are good instructions on there on how to do it, to create a boot.
What program do you recommend besides Hiren's?
Well, they offer a program called usbformat.zip that actually does the key formatting and copying, and then they use Grub, which is a boot manager, which I like. That's a good one, to choose which operating system. So if you follow the instructions on here, and they're not trivial, and it's certainly not as simple as copying files to the USB key, you should get a bootable USB drive. Boy, this is a great idea. I'm holding up a USB key right now that has Windows 7 on it. It's a Windows 7 recovery disk. Really handy to have a recovery disk that you can boot to in case your hard drive doesn't work or whatever. Other good ones, Ultimate Boot CD, that's one I've recommended in the past. Hiren's is Hirens. There are others out there that have commercial software on there, pirated, that I don't recommend. And it's certainly not a bad thing to have a Windows boot CD that you can reinstall Windows from. But that's not going to make as much of a difference because that's just Windows. I mean, you can reinstall Windows from that. But a lot of times you can't do the file recovery, the antivirus, the hard drive repartitioning, the kind of stuff you want to do from Windows or Windows installer. So that's why I like these boot disks. Very handy to have. There's a number of suggestions in the chat room for different ways to make these. Xboot is another one. Some people use other boot disks. Let's make, James DeRuvo, who's writing down all the notes, let's make a nice little section on the page, with the answer to this question with a bunch of different ways you can do that. It's highly recommended. And if you're one of the people, that people go to for help, you wanna do that. Have I shown you my beautiful telephone? I'm not normally excited about telephones in any way. I'm excited about this one because that's my Ring Central phone. Yeah, you might look at it and say, hey, that looks just like an office phone. That's kind of the point. It is. It's a multi-line office set, a traditional Polycom phone with one slight difference. I don't have a PBX in the basement. I'm using the best cloud phone system out there, the ¡1 cloud-based phone system for business, ringcentral.com. You've heard me talk about it. I hope you have. And I hope you've tried it. If you're in a small business, this would be a good one to recommend to the boss. If you're setting up a new business or setting up new locations, you got to check out Ring Central, a great way to do phones. That's what we did here when we built the Tech Guy Labs. we looked at the various options. Russell, our IT guy said, do Ring Central. It's what I've used for other clients. It's really flexible, powerful, supports multiple locations, supports cell phones too. So that you can use the Ring Central apps on your smartphone to phone from the business number. It appears to be your 800 number, your business number. Incoming calls can be forwarded to your smartphone. And now they have business texting. Business SMS, so you can send text messages to customers and colleagues from your business phone number via your phone. And incoming texts to your business number show up on your smartphone. It's so cool. Pricing starts as low as $20 per user per month. That's what we pay. And they have a new feature, a special offer. When you buy one desk phone, you can get a second phone free up to 20 phones. Now, that's a deal. RingCentral.com. I'll tell you what, visit it right now and use the promo code TWIT for 30 days free and that 2-for-1 phone deal. Or call 800-543-9980. That's a special number just for Tech Guy listeners. 800-543-9980 or ringcentral.com/twit. No PBX in the basement. Amazing flexibility. Voicemails in your email. Faxes incoming and outbound via email. We've got a directory. We've got music on hold, actually Twit on hold. All of that stuff through Ring Central. It's so easy to set up. You just plug in the phone and you're going. We're adding new people. We hired 3 new people this week. And it's easy. You plug in the phone. It's a SIP phone. It's a special, it's an internet-based phone. You plug in the phone. We use Polycoms, love them. And they're on. And easy to add people to the phone tree and everything. RingCentral.com. Use the offer code Twitter. Call 800-543-9980. I don't know. I don't use Outlook, so I'm not sure what the Outlook plugin, but I would guess there is. They're as flexible as anybody and a lot less expensive. We do have an asterisk box in the basement now. That's what the new call screening stuff uses. We're using a Telos VX system, and they use asterisks, of all things. So this has changed a lot. In the old days, you call the phone company, they give you a hunt group. What are you talking to me? I can't hear you. He's showing what it looked like when the call screener's talking to me. The asterisk replaces what would traditionally be a telco hunt group. So in the old days, in fact, probably when you call us now at 8888 Ask Leo, it goes to the phone company, has a hunt group, and so they roll over lines and take more calls on the single number. But now we can do it locally, which is really cool.
I think I'd like to call you mom.
All right, Leo, no billboard here.
I'm gonna go put on my sailor suit. We'll go out on the town. Why don't you let me call you that? You're acting so much like my mom. She didn't like it when I called her name. You and her are the same. When we go out.
This portion of the Tech Guy Show brought to you by me, Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy, and our Tech Guy Lab site at techguylabs.com. Go there to find out everything I've talked about on the show. It's all there. It's all written. And we add more all the time. And you can add more, too, using the comments. techguylabs.com. Sandy on the line from San Diego. Hey, Sandy.
Hey.
Welcome.
How you doing?
I'm great. What can I do for you?
Well, I am constantly having the problem of my computer filling up. I'm a photographer and a graphic artist, and so everything I do is really memory heavy.
How many shots do you take at a typical shoot? You might have thousands of shots, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's so easy to just use up hard drive space like crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So I bought a WD Passport 2 terabyte hard drive to put all my photographs on.
Good.
But then my mom bought the same one, but a 1 terabyte for her backup, and it failed. And once it failed, it freaked me out. Thinking,
of course it did.
My photos over there, and I looked.
So, it's very important to understand, Sandy, that one copy of anything, I don't care what it's on, is not safe. You have to have at least 2, and I recommend 3 copies of everything. Now, that means more storage, But if you've been moving your photos onto this passport and not keeping a copy anywhere else, yeah, you should be scared. All hard drives die eventually. It's not permanent. You need to have 2 copies, maybe 3. So here's what I'm going to do. You're on the right track. Having multiple hard drives, you just don't have enough of them.
Right.
Right? One fails, that's okay if you have another one. And they will fail. They just don't usually fail all at the same time.
Right.
And by the way, that's the argument. The only time they fail at the same time is when the house burns down or, there's a major disaster. And that's the argument for having 1 copy off-site.
Right.
So here's this all comes, by the way, and there's a great book you should look at. All photographers should have a copy of Peter Krogh, Krogh's book. It's called The Damn Book, Digital Asset Management. He's a photographer, so he's thinking the way you're thinking.
Okay.
And I'll give you the short version is online and it's free. dpbestflow.org. Digital Photography Best Workflow, or dpbestflow.org. Now, what he's talked about here, and this is a great thing to read, is workflow in general. So, if you think about it, it's more than just a backup issue, isn't it? It's about what happens after you get back from the shoot. How do you process the photos, where you keep them, how do you get them again, all of that stuff.
Yeah, and constantly needing to, access them to put in, the graphic programs too.
Right. So you're going to need something that does offline cataloging so that, you can't keep everything online. Okay, so let me give you some terms in storage. There's online storage, which means it's in your computer. It's there. You open up the folder, there's your stuff. There's nearline storage, which is there, but maybe not as quickly accessible. And then there's off-site or offline storage, which is, you have to go get a drive and plug it in. You probably want to use all 3 in different ways. He talks about this, but you can't keep everything online because you just be adding more and more drives. Eventually, it's just too much stuff.
Yeah.
So what you need is a cataloging program. You keep the stuff online that you're. I have 2 ways that stuff's online and nearline. The online stuff is on my SSD where it's really fast. That's the project I'm working on today, whether it's video, audio, or photos. Then nearline is stuff from previous months, but still 2013, 2012 timeframe. And then after a few years, then you move it to offline, where you could get it. It's in a closet or it's in the cloud, but it's somewhere where you can get it, but it'd take you to get up and go get it. And then you need software that keeps track of all of the above. Right? So that you say, well, I remember I took this great image of daffodils. I'd love to use it in this project. Where would that be? And then you type into this software daffodils, and it says, oh, yeah, Sandy, you got 8 pictures of daffodils. 3 of them are on the hard drive now. 2 of them are on hard drive 1372, and 1 of them's on 1358. And you go, oh, great. And you go to your closet, you get down those drives. Does that all make sense? So it means you're buying a lot of these passports. But remember, the key, 1 copy of anything is not a backup. You can call it a backup, but it's the original.
No, I've heard you say that a million times, and I looked into all this cloud storage, and it wasn't.
Cloud's expensive for this because you got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'll give you and you've heard me say this then, 3-2-1 backup, which is 3 copies of everything.
Right.
Two of them are on different formats, so you don't depend everything as not everything is cloud, not everything is hard drive, not everything is USB. It's a variety. Variety's good, and one of them should be somewhere else in case the premises burn down. And so that's 3-2-1. Now we talk about carbonite, but if you're talking terabytes of data, it's not practical. It's too time consuming to upload all of that data all the time. And it can get very expensive. So that's where you might have a passport where you keep it work.
Well, have you heard much of? Last week I was listening, and somebody had the same one that had failed them, and I was.
They're not any worse than anything else. As hard drives get bigger, they're going to be more prone to data loss because we're packing more bits on them. So I just bought a 2 terabyte for this purpose exactly, passport for photo backup. I'm going to take it on my next big trip. but it's one of 3 different drives that the stuff will be on. And I'm not erasing the SD cards until I'm sure I have to.
Yeah.
So the more copies, the better. And all hard drives fail. Portable drives a little bit more often because they get banged around.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of why I went with having one here, next to me, because I was reading all these reviews about people, about the cloud failing too, and then that.
Yeah, even the cloud can fail, although it's less if it's a good company, they know what they're doing, it's less likely to.
Yeah.
So, but that's why you don't even one copy in the cloud is not a backup.
Right.
You got to have multiple copies, and you got to have diversity, so that if any one thing goes wrong, you still have a backup. And that, remember, you also want to consider how important is this. And if you're a hoarder, you might have to learn how to throw out stuff that you're not going to use. For instance, do you want to save every daffodil picture, or only the best?
Right.
And it's very easy to say, "Oh, I might need that," and it is only bits after all.
Right.
But
yeah, I may have to slim down some of the stuff. But for the most part, I mean, like I said, I do take a lot of photos, and I do a lot of graphics.
So dpbestflow.org, he's got a whole thing on backup, but he also talks about when you get home with the SD card, you pop it into your computer, delete a lot of that stuff right now, because you'll never delete it later. Right? And I'm the worst. I bring back 7,000 or 8,000 pictures from every trip. And have I deleted any of them? No, I haven't even gotten around to posting pictures from a trip I took 2 years ago. So don't do as I do as I say.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But Sandy, I'm completely sympathetic. I understand how this is. But the stuff that you really need, you do want to have many copies of. 3 is good.
Okay.
And those external drives are no worse than anything else. They're not perfect. Nothing is, but nothing is. And by the way, people say, "Oh, well, I burn mine in CDs or DVDs. Those last forever." No, they don't. They rot.
Yeah.
They rot.
I have several CDs and DVDs that I've burned that I stick them in my computer, and I have Apple. I stick it in my computer, and it will not launch.
Yeah.
And then I have to wipe it off a few times, and every now and then there's one that will not launch no matter what.
Turns out it's not as good as a hard drive.
Right.
A properly stored hard drive is often the best way, but you should have more than one way of doing it. Great to talk to you, Sandy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I actually use SmugMug, so if, in theory, my workflow is like this. And this is more theory than practice because I'm so far behind. But okay, so I go out and shoot. I'm going to be in Italy in September. I go out and shoot, spend a day. Beautiful shots. Probably will come back with 500 to 1,000 shots that day. Pop them in the computer. Now I have the laptop with several hundred gigabytes free for this trip, a SSD with 270 gigabytes free, and a passport with 2 terabytes free, all connected, all USB 3. So first thing I do is I import all the pictures in Lightroom. I import all the pictures from the card to the hard drive on the computer, okay, in my Lightroom catalog. I take the card and put it somewhere safe. I do not erase it. So now I have 2 copies. I work and ideally go through the pictures and delete the obviously bad ones. And this is up to you. I use Lightroom has a, and all of these programs have this, has a flag this, but they also can rate it 1 through 5. I've seen different photographers do different things, maybe rate 3, 4, 5, that kind of thing. But anything that's lower than a 3, throw out. Now, we've pared it down. Maybe we pared it down by 2/3. And you don't have to, but this is just my recommendation. Now, we've saved some space. We still have the originals on the SD card, but most of those are garbage. I mean, if it's out of focus, you know what you're never going to use. At least throw those out. Then I immediately back up not only the pictures, but the Lightroom catalog to the SSD. And then every night I will run a cron job that syncs the SSD with the passport. So now I have 4 copies of every photo, usually each day. Then as I come home, when I come home, I carry one drive and my laptop in my carry-on, and one's in my checked baggage. This is not that much work. It's pretty quick. It's almost in real time, and it's better than and it's pretty straightforward. It's all pretty automatic. Yeah, eventually you could use Amazon Glacier, but again, I don't think that's ideal. Now I get home. Now I'm going to pick my out of my 20 or 30,000 shots. I'm going to pick my favorite 100. There's certainly no more than 100 good shots in there because I'm a crappy photographer. And those 100 and no more get uploaded to SmugMug, both for people to look at, but also SmugMug supports uploading the RAW, because I shoot in RAW, uploading the RAW to SmugMug, and it stores it on Amazon on S3. So now I have probably the most important thing is because I'm never going to look at most of these pictures, but the 100 really good ones I got, and those are preserved. Glacier is too new to be for me to be sure that it is a good idea. I mean, it's a great idea. The idea of Amazon Glacier is it's cheap, but it's slow. Online is still a problem because if it's a lot of online, you don't want to I don't really want to upload, what will probably, I'll come back from the AAA with a couple 100 gigabytes worth of stuff. It takes too long to upload it, unless you're on a very fast connection. So the idea of Glacier is it's cheap. It's a penny a gigabyte a month, but it's really slow to get. And I think the best way is to upload the 100 to SmugMug, and then you can see them. You've got the RAWs, and those are the ones I really care about, right? All right, let's get ready for the GizWiz.
Live reads, Leo.
I'm done?
You are done. An extra minute.
I'd unravel every riddle for any.
The official Dick DeBartolo theme song. Kyle Benham, he's going to be gone soon, Dick. It's okay, We're getting rid of him. You're fired, Bennett. What's his name? Benham. Kyle Benham's last weekend. He actually resigned. He's leaving us for greener pastures. Dick DeBartolo is here. He's never quitting, never leaving.
Never leaving.
Somebody's got to feed the mustache. He is the Mad Magazine's maddest writer for 5 decades. He's also a gadget hound and joins us every week to talk about our coolest, newest stuff. Dick DeBartolo, how you doing?
I'm doing good, pal. Now, I've tried this. I can sing in the rain.
Yeah.
I can dance in the rain.
Yeah.
I have a very difficult time texting in the rain.
Maybe you should wait till you get home, Dick.
Now, for people who must text 24/7, there is the Broly umbrella, which has finger holes through the handle so that you can hold the umbrella easily, have your thumbs totally free to keep on texting.
Now, if somebody wants to imagine how this looks, it's basically like you have a pair of brass knuckles on the end of your umbrella.
Yes. And they might be good for defense, but I'm not sure about that. with the umbrella in the closed position, you may have hit upon something.
Or I'm going to hit upon you with my brolly. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I didn't go out in the rain, but I did it indoors. And if you try to text with a regular and hold a regular umbrella, as you go toward the keys to the right, the umbrella falls off to the right or falls off to the left. But when your fingers are dead ahead, it is very easy to balance an umbrella and text at the same time. And the umbrella is kind of nice. It folds up rather compactly. It has aluminum frame reinforced with ABS plastic, and it's under $20.
And you don't look the least bit dorky with brass knuckles.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. And they're at Broly Time, BROLLY, BrolyTime.com.
You know, it also looks like a better grip, but I would worry a little bit if you're in a windy area because I think if the umbrella took off, so would your fingers.
Yeah, but at least you could go with it, texting the entire way. I'm in a storm. I'm in a storm.
This is Mary Poppins. I'll be in a moment.
That's right. That's right.
If you're somebody in the chat room said, and I think this is true, if you're a doorman and you have to stand outside in the rain, you might want to be able to get something like this.
There you go.
Whatever.
Okay.
Whatever.
One of the few times you haven't bought something.
No,
before
that's true.
I finished talking about it.
Unfortunately, I buy a lot of stuff. Often bitterly regret it. I've got a soft serve ice cream maker in pink. It's sitting behind me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but the Satachi lamp, that was a find, right?
No, that's true. I have that in my bedroom, the bedside lamp. Those are good, the LED lamps. Look, this just came from...
Oh, it's smaller than I thought.
I don't know what this is. Let's see what this is. It's a
Oh,
box.
I thought that was the soft serve.
Oh,
this
this
is
is
Tuesdays
exciting.
when we do crap from Sky Mall.
Yeah, this is
on
going
the
to be
Gizwit.
this is going to be good. This is the I'm excited about this. We'll do this on Tuesday. This is the 16 shot roulette wheel. So
okay. So 16 employees will be getting premium scotch.
And then along with that comes the keychain alcohol detector breathalyzer.
Oh,
so
perfect.
It's kind of a 2-in-1 gift.
Yeah.
You know, after we're done reviewing this, maybe I'll give it to my daughter. She just had her 21st birthday.
Oh, very good.
Perfect for binge drinking, but not driving.
Nice. Nice.
Wow.
What a thoughtful dad.
Here, honey. I know you've always wanted a shot glass roulette wheel. Look at that.
Oh, my word. I think you just broke it.
I think I did too. But, I don't think as long as the shot glasses are all right. Each has a number on it. So you spin it, and I guess if you hit the number, I don't know.
Oh, well. We'll figure that out.
I'm going to fill it with root beer. If you go to gizwiz.biz, that's Dick's website, gizwiz.biz. You could see the What the Heck Is It game, a chance to win an autographed copy of Mad Magazine from Dick DeBartolo. He's got a close-up picture of some gadget. Now we know what that is.
A single drink holder.
Oh, see, I thought it was the superconducting super collider. The large...
No, that's not a bad answer.
Large Hadron Super Collider. Yeah. So you go there now. Here's the deal: 12 Mad magazines for the right answer, autographed by Dick DeBartolo. 24 for the wrong answer. So your chances of winning are much better if you are like me, completely baffled by the image.
Okay.
Thank you, Dickie D. Stick around. We're going to do the Giz Fizz right after the radio show, and of course, don't forget to tune in for the Giz Wiz podcast. We do that live on twit.tv every Tuesday at about, usually it's around about 3:30 or 4 p.m. Pacific, 6:30 or 7 p.m. Eastern. Thanks, Dick.
Thank you, sir. See you.
See ya. Couple more phone calls, I think, before we wrap this thing up. Stephen in Tacoma, Washington. I was told the most wired city in America. Hi, Stephen. Hello. You know, when they say Tacoma is the most wired city, I thought for a long time it was internet access, but now I'm thinking, given the love up there for coffee, that maybe they mean the most wired city in America. Hello, Stephen. I don't hear anything. I'll put him on hold. Maybe we have a chance to get back to him. Tony in La Habra, Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hey, Leo. Last week I gave you a call when I was looking for an email software for a website.
Yeah.
And you gave me a couple of suggestions, but I found something perfect. And
good.
You and your listeners might want to hear about.
Yeah. What was it?
It's called Hivemail, Hivemail.
Mm-hmm.
It's fully customizable. It allows me to offer a free email service for my domain to anybody who wants to come and get an email, and I can change the megabytes and everything.
And do they do the back end? Is the mail stored on their servers?
Well, you have two options. They host their own servers, which is perfect for their software, or you can find a host that will allow that to happen. And I found a lot of my host places I use don't want me hosting an email site, so for $10 a month, I'm hosting my email on Hivemail. It's perfect and it's free unless you take their hosting.
That's neat. And now you can use your domain name, and have your users use that and get their mail from that. But you don't have to do any extra work. They host it.
Well, you have to know a little bit about what you're doing, but I'm by no means a programmer. I was able to do it myself, and it's up and running, and it's great. Can I plug the site?
Yeah, Hive is as in beehive, hivemail.com.
Yeah. Oh, I meant mine.
Oh yeah, plug your site, Tony. Sure.
It's called americasemail.com.
So you want to make this a business?
I'd like to. There's no advertising and nothing right now. It's just free email. But eventually, I'd like to put advertising up. And I've got a couple of other ones: usmail.me, mailusa.me, mailusa.us.
So I could have like Leo at americasmail.com, that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, good luck, Tony. It sounds like a good business, and I appreciate the follow-up. It's nice to be able to give people an answer to a question from last week. We'll add that to the show notes, too. Hivemail.com. Pete in Detroit. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hey, Leo, how you doing, bud?
Great. Pete, how you doing?
Actually, you helped me a couple years ago when I was looking for a laptop. Now I'm looking for a Windows 8 tablet.
Well, of course, Microsoft makes one. It's called the Surface.
Nah, I'm not interested in that one.
There aren't that many other ones,
I looked. I found an HP Envy X2.
Yeah, that's actually not bad.
That looks like a very nice one. I know it runs the Atom processor.
Yeah, so that's kind of the only negative on that. It's going to be less expensive, but the Atom is a little slower than the i5, which some of the other Windows 8 Pro tablets have. But the Envy's nice. We've tried it, and we thought it's good looking. It's a little heavy, but it's a hybrid, which means you can put a keyboard on it, and now it's a laptop. And I think it's a pretty good choice. Right. Yeah.
It comes with the keyboard and everything, and I can get it for under $500.
Well, and that's why, because it's based on the Atom processor. It's going to be a little less expensive, and I think that's a great choice. My personal favorite is twice that, but I'm made of money, is the Lenovo Yoga IdeaPad. And that's because that has a faster processor. But, the Atom's fine if you're not super demanding. Hey, thanks for the call. Thanks for joining me. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. I'm Leo Laporte. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, the Tech Guy is just the tip of the iceberg. We do nearly 30 shows now on the Twit Netcast Network, and you'll find them all at twit.tv. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on Mac Break Weekly, iPad on iPad Today. You get your daily dose of tech news from Tech News Today, and our weekly roundtable show, This Week in Tech. It's all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next time with another great Tech Guy podcast. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.